Hey, there you are. Welcome back. It's Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, in the chair for another sizzling Saturday. Over the national fences we go. The road to Aintree is on, and then down at Isha's Playground, Sandown, for the Tingle Creek. Not the only Grade 1 action we've got there today. No Altior, get your comments in about that. We'll start with that at the top of the show. Once I introduce the panellists for you, great to have you along. We're going to have some fun this afternoon. It's going to be thick and fast. I think we sign off at Sandown, a handicap hurdle with a hot pot Mr. Coffee for Nicky Henderson. He's had 2 odds-on shots beaten in the first 2 races. Could it just not be Nicky's day after that massive announcement last night? Bombshell proper. Altior out of the Tingle Creek. Politolog now a hot favourite for John Hales, the great grey, of course, who is the champion chaser. Right, who have we got on the panel for you then? If you're watching on YouTube Live, YouTube, don't forget to get your questions in below to the panel. Like and subscribe. Facebook Live, good to have you as well. Twitter, #RP Live. Get your comments in. This is the place to be. Real-time analysis, reaction all the way. Let's go down the panel then. It's the Racing Post brother from another mother. Charlie Poste is here. How are you, my man?
I'm good. It's an interesting introduction. Cheers, Dave. No, I'm really good. Looking forward to today. Some fantastic action to get stuck into.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun today, aren't we?
I really hope so, yeah. I haven't travelled all this way to not have a laugh, yeah.
We're going to be getting some obviously some analytical insight from you as the races are going on, where you might want to be. You've ridden over the national fences before. Didn't quite get riding the big one.
No, never quite worked out. I had a couple of horses fancied Le Beau, especially when I won the Welsh National and ground dried up, so... It's a bugbearer of mine, to be honest. We all have regrets, and it is a regret that I didn't get to ride in the National itself, yeah.
Back a couple of winners there today, Charlie. Put some up, and it will help ease the
pain,
for
sure,
I think,
of course.
Okay, Graeme Rodway's back on the panel as well. G, good to see you.
Yeah, good to be back, Dave.
Happy days. You've had a shave, haven't you? Good.
Yeah. I thought this morning I should probably smarten myself up after yesterday's What a Shout appearance.
Looking a bit scruffy, were we?
Yeah. It's been a real tough morning down in Chelmsford. This morning I woke up, my car had a flat tyre, so I had to get out and fix that, and there was also like a lake in my back car park. I was like,
flooded, you mean?
Yeah. The weather's been terrible, up in Essex. It's been absolutely hammering it down for 2 days non-stop. So then I had to get through the lake. So yeah, just to get here was a bit of a trial in itself. So the fact that I've had a shave is a real bonus for you lot.
Oh, absolutely. I'm taking it as that. I don't know where you were today. It was beautiful where I woke up this morning.
Yeah, I mean, with blue skies
morning.
And yeah, perfect. I mean,
okay, so we can tell how G's day has gone so far. Let's hope his afternoon's going to get better. Who have we got from Betfair then? Darren Hughes joins us from Dublin. I think we can say it. Everyone says that, Darren, don't they? Are you in Dublin? All the Irish guys go, it's just easier for these guys if I say yes. But you are actually in Dublin, are you, Darren?
Pretty much. I'm down in my home house. It's just about an hour outside Dublin. As I said to you before the show, it's like when people say they're in London, they're actually in Milton Keynes. You're not really in London. I'm not really in Dublin, but we'll say Dublin for ease. It's the handiest thing.
I'm glad you're in your home house, because if that was the office, you need to have a word with Barry, I'll tell you that much. But Darren, you're going to be helping us with the trades. We're going to be learning all about the Betfair Exchange, aren't we? You've got some thick and strong opinions, I know that, my man. Is there a lay that we've got, let's get it out of the way. What's the big Darren Hughes target this afternoon?
Might have to wait till later on in the show to reveal that. I have a couple of different bets there. I'm really keen to showcase just how you can use the exchange to bet differently and bet better. We have a Dutch later on in the card. We're going to back 2 horses to combine their chances and use them to oppose the field. We're going to have a place lay in there. We're going to be taking advantage of the extra place markets on the exchange. So instead of having your standard 3 places, we're going to use the win market and then the extra 4 place or the extra 5 place. So really excited for the day. Hopefully we can make a few quid for charity as well.
Great to have you along, Darren. Absolutely superb. And talking to charity, I said, should we do with which charity? Have you got one in particular? And actually, you did come up with a corker, actually.
Yeah, I think we're gonna work towards the Borough 7, which is raising money for motor neurone disease, named after the Leeds Rhino legend Rob Burrow, who's battling the condition. And I think at the moment his teammate Kevin Sinfield is running 7 marathons in 7 days to raise awareness for it. And they've got a horse they've got a horse in training with Jed O'Keefe called Borough 7. I think it's 50, 60 quid to become a member, which I am. Yeah, and
money where your mouth is, Poste.
100%. I mean, this bloke was a legend on the rugby league pitch, and it's tragic seeing what he's like.
It's extremely inspiring, isn't it? So if you don't know what that is, check it out. We're going to be fighting for charity there, and hopefully any winnings we've got they'll be getting a check as well. Okay, we've got the Beecher coming up, haven't we? Shall we get stuck straight in? National Fences, the Beecher, they've brought it forward. We're up at Aintree then. Hello, if you're in Liverpool watching this and you didn't manage to get to the track, this is the place to be. Goodness gracious me, how many runners we've got in the Beecher? Let me look down. Just 21 fences, 14 runners. It's a hell of a race, isn't it? Let's get the market up on the screen. Darren Hughes is walking the mill, going to go off clear favourite in his bid to win the race for a third year in succession.
He is being strongly contested by the former National Hunt Chase winner LeBroy at the moment. They are joint favourites at 6.6 on the screen here in front of me. So very tight at the top of the market. Ramses Deteye then for David Pipe and Tom Kudamore, hopefully I pronounced that right, is 7.8. Been a bit of money knocking around for Yala Enki and Betfair ambassador Paul Nichols. He was back at a high of 15 this morning, down to 9 now with Brownie Frost on board. Of course, has run well over these fences before. Good performance last time out as well. So we'd be hopeful of a big run from him. Kimberley Candy then for Richie McLernan and Tom Lacey is 15.0 on the machine, and Kusar Savola for Nick Williams 10.0. So really competitive field here.
Darren, where's the trade? Let's get you. This is the protocol on the show. If you're a new viewer, welcome along. What we do is we're going to start off with Darren's idea of winner or indeed a loser. That's a lay bet, of course, and give you time to respond and trade. Graeme Rodway will be doing the trading for Darren, Magic Fingers. Let's see where Darren's going to play then.
Very good, yeah. Listen, this is going to be an absolute stamina test at the highest order. I mean, it's going to be very grueling. The ground is quite testing up there as it is, and I just think you need a slogger here. And the one that stood out for me in the field is the one that's been for a bit of money this morning, and that's Yala Enki. Look, he's as slow as a wet week in Waterford, but he is a relentless galloper. He jumps well enough to make me think he'd be more than fine over these obstacles. The winning place markets look of interest here. We're first 5 places on the sports book, but you can obviously do that in the exchange as well. So let's start off, Graeme, there with a 30 quid win bet on Yala Enki at about 9.0 in the machine, please.
It's all gone quiet, which means G's concentrating.
I'm concentrating. My tongue usually.
That's about the only time he does go quiet.
Right, there we
You
go.
know, Michael Jordan used to do that too, Graeme. He used to, whenever he was concentrating, his tongue used to just stick out slightly, so you're in good company.
It's the first time you've ever been talked of the likes of great Michael Jordan, isn't it?
That's one of the best compliments I've ever had, that, isn't it? Yeah, that's gone in, so that's been matched at 9-2. 9.2.
Perfect. 9.2, that's brilliant.
Happy
okay,
days.
perfect. And then
Happy
we'll go
days.
over then to the 5-place market.
Yep, 5 places.
That's an extra place than you get in most standard sportsbook. Of course, the Betfair Sportsbook is paying 5 places, but standard place terms are 4 places here, or 3 places even. I beg your pardon. Yala Enki is 2.16 to be in the front 5. So let's have a score on that, please. Graeme. It's about 6-5 in standard odds.
2.16. Yeah.
Please, yeah, that'd be ideal. We're going to get most of our stake back there if he does hit the frame. It's something I often like to do. A standard each way bet is obviously, your 20 each way is 20 win, 20 place, and I sometimes feel if I'm having a bet, I'd like to be rewarded more if I'm right. So have more of your stake on the win part and just cover your bet with the place part. It's something I often like to do when I'm betting on the exchange, and I think it's one of the many great tools that Betfair Exchange offers. So let's go with that to kick us off for the day. There
you go, Darren Hughes' trade. Then if that comes in, you can afford some headphones like Darren as well. Absolute worldies they are, aren't they? Absolutely.
Beauties.
From a different world. Absolute beauties. Love it. Okay, so Yala Enki, he is interesting. I'm going to give you a line on him in a second, but we have got some social media comments. Who's going to open the show? Okay, Mark Smith. Good to have you on, Mark. Hi, lads. Walking the mill for the win. Yala Enki each way. He's used to carrying a big weight. Right, let's talk about this then. Yeah, walking the mill. I said to you, didn't I, just before we came in, I went, if he's on 149 now. I think he's 6 or 7 higher than when he last won it. How much are they really going to? Is this his big day? Do you know what I mean? A wet national. I think lots of people would fancy him. He was second in the virtual national. He can do it on the big day. How much are they going to? They're not going to win today. I think you went. They don't think like that.
As I said to you, though, ASO was going to win the virtual national as well, bar a crumbling 4-2 out or whatever it was. I mean, but for me, this is walking the mill's big day. He's a dual winner of the race. I mean, you're banking on a wet spring to bring him into play in the national. I think it's all about today. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I absolutely adore the horse. I think I backed him actually for the national that wasn't this year. Thinking, hopefully the way he needs the soft ground, doesn't he, G? Yala Enki as well, G. Let's chat about this. I was tempted to put this chap up when I was previewing the race 48 hours ago. 9 of the last 10 have run previously over the national fences. He's not ticked it. At Cheltenham last time under Brian, he jumped beautifully, didn't he? Presented so well at every single fence. I don't think that the weight isn't the worry for me. It's the fences probably. I love the fact he's going to be up there. I don't know. We've been talking about these staying chases, haven't we, recently, and how they're dominated by the front runners. Cloth Cap being the proverbial from last. How it's absolutely transformed them, especially over the natural fences. You don't want to get too far behind.
I was going to say it's favoured by prominent races. These sort of races.
So Yada Henke ticks those boxes. Why don't you like him, G?
I didn't think he was that well handicapped, to be fair. Now, I know he's carrying a lot of weight. That doesn't really bother me, the weight thing, but it's more about what sort of mark he's running off. And I still think he's fairly off a high sort of mark for this sort of race.
Top weight, isn't he?
Yeah, I can see all the arguments that you're making. I mean, it's not just sort of the national fences and chasing and... I mean, racing in general, you want to be prominent. You know, more horses win from the front than any other. You know, I mean, not just jumps races, flat races too. You know, to me, yeah, you know, I really dislike very overcomplicated rides. You know, because for me it's quite simple, and if you keep it simple, this is why I think the great Kieran Fallon was one of the best. You know, he was a real sort of uncomplicated rider, wasn't he? You just used to stick him in the right position, and if they were good enough, they were good enough, and if they weren't, they weren't.
We're warming you up, aren't we, G? We are warming you up. All right, already mentioned Kieran Fallon on Beecher Day.
Yeah.
So having said that, here comes a bit of egg on your face. You've put up a horse that might be sitting out last.
That is a slight worry, isn't it? Yeah, that is a slight worry around here. And the big drift is also
Kimberlite
a big,
Candy,
big
of course.
worry. Kimberlite Candy, yeah. I had a feeling this was going to drift last night. I was looking at the market and it was absolutely friendless. It was around about 6-1 and sort of a bunch of red on odds checker. And I thought, this is going to drift. So I didn't back it last night. I thought, well, I'll wait. But I didn't think he was going to drift this badly.
He looks like he's coming back in a little bit now, Darren, doesn't he? I can see him, around about 14.5, Darren, in the market, just as they're getting round at the start.
Yeah, he's currently an 18 chance at the moment here, so 17.5. He's kind of flicking over and back. There was a few quid around there for Yala Henke for our selection. He was backed as low as 7.4 there at one point, back out to 8.8 now. Walk in the Mill is taking a walk in the market. He's currently 7.8 from 6.6. When we last checked, LeBroy has gone to outright favourite at 6.8, which is just about 6-1 in fractional odds. Ramsey Detay then is an 8.2 chance, just a touch bigger than 7-1. And Kustar Savola, small bit of money for him. He's 9.2 from 10 when we last checked. So market is obviously very active, almost 600k match here at the moment. So, you know, it's one of those handicaps. Lots of people have lots of opinions, and they like to get involved in these types of races.
Okay, superb. So I am on LeBroy. I think him and Violi Rouge. That'll do for me. I didn't expect him to be 5-1. He's drifted out now. £9 lower than when running well in the race last year. I say running well. He was about 9th, but he did have an excuse. Ben Pauling very keen on him. A reminder for your selection post.
Jet for me for national maestro Sam Whaley-Cohen.
Yeah. He's gone under the radar, isn't he? Jet. Whaley-Cohen, Sam Whaley-Cohen, they're off and running then in the beach. I shall assume the call as they're going. Hammering down to the first. Ramsey's to Teye and Tom Scudamore. Not surprisingly, would it be? Oh my goodness, we've lost one at the first. Is that Yala Henke?
Yala Henke's gone.
Yala Henke's gone at the first. Shock horror. Bryony and the horse up at the first. That's good to see. Okay, Yala Henke. Unbelievable scenes. Darren Hughes down at the first. It is unsurprisingly up there at the moment. LeBroy right up there. We know he stays strongly. Jet. And Sam Whaley-Cohen, just mentioning him, weren't we? Sam's only got one way of riding over these fences from the front, and he gets them jumping superbly, the crack amateur. Looking at the back, Verlion Rouge is out the back. Kustar Savola, he's there. Walk in the Mill wasn't too clever there at second. Charlie Poste.
Walk in the Mill wasn't. I mean, like you say, Jet taking them along. Kustar Savola, former festival winner, got a handy position down the inside. My brother on Manila Celebration got a good prominent position. LeBreul, the Dower Stayer, is up there too, with Ramsey to Tali with plenty of light on the outside.
Okay, superb. So the fact that your brother's riding Manila Celebration, who's won back-to-back races coming into this, he's run over the national fences before. The fact you're not tipping it, what do you think? Too high in the weights?
I think just the ground, Dave. You know, he really likes the good ground, and he's I think if it had stayed dry all week, he'd have been an each-way player. But I would worry about his stamina in these conditions.
Sapping stuff, and they're just forming their order. Then Graeme, Kimberlite Candy, he looks like he's taking a nice enthusiastic hold, more prominent than I was expecting in about fifth.
Yeah, he is a lot more prominent than I was expecting. That has been reflected by his price and Betfair's in running market as well. He's gone in, I think, just before the off, he was trading at 21, but he's down at 11 now, so shaved 10 points off the price with just getting into that good early position. Because the one thing that Kimberlite Candy does do is stay very well. In fact, he probably wants further than this.
He got going too late last year, didn't he? Do you remember?
He was flying home, and then of course when he went up in trip at Warwick, he looked superb.
Yeah. I'd be very happy with where Lebroy is at the moment. Is the market reacting that way as we go over the canal turn? Or we're not over the canal turn, are we? What's that? Whoa! Kustos Simona's gone!
Unbelievable.
That walk in the mill's gone. His walk in the pot's gone. Unbelievable. His walk in the mill has gone. The two-time winner of the race. Absolute drama so far. Where do we want to be? Up front. And it is Jet being taken on by Lebroy. He's absolutely staggering these. Calip Mad in midfield. ASO going for virtual national compensation. Right out the back at the moment, along with Smooth Stepper.
Someone's come down on the flat.
But then a separation's come that way. Brothers come off on the bend.
Your brother's come off on the bend.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's going to be an awkward conversation later, isn't it?
Yeah. You better have a good excuse anyway.
I think so. So Kimberlite Candy, surely that's going to bring him into the market now. It's really establishing themselves as they go onto the far side. I've got no idea what fence it is they're about to take. But let's go to Darren Hughes. He knows what the market's saying.
Absolutely chaotic stuff here, Dave. Yeah, Lebroy is currently trading at about 2.96, 3.0 in around the 2-to-1 mark. Walking the mill had been drifting before he fell. He was matched at about 17.5 before he came down. Looked like he's been scrubbed along early. Ramsey Detay improved in the market too. He's trading around 4 at the moment, so he's just around the 3-to-1 mark. It's gone 11-4 as I speak to you. Kimberlite Candy's the real one for money. They really like how he's running at the moment. 5.1, 5.2, just a touch bigger than 4-to-1 from a BSP at 22.3. So he looks very likely he might just hit the frame. For Leon, ASO gone. For Leon Rouge, another one, 6.4, 7 from 13 before the off. Chaotic stuff here as we go. Lebroy, a bit of a drift there now. Joint favourites at Ramsey Detay. They're about 5-2 apiece, but invigorating stuff here, Dave, at the moment.
Thank you very much, Darren Hughes. Just a quick word about Ramsey Detay. The reason why I didn't really like him was because he fell at the canal turn when he tried it a couple of years ago. But David Pipe, in the members section this morning, you would have read his comment saying the stirrups broke. He had an excuse. He's really enjoying himself, isn't he?
His rein snapped, I think, was what happened. Dave Noonan pulled him up. From starting out wide, Tom Skew's been able to manoeuvre to a position down the inside. He's in a great spot now, following Jet and Lebroy.
Yeah, I'll tell you the couple that we haven't mentioned. Joe Farrell giving a good sight on the inside. Calypso Calange was in a nice position. Ollie Murphy's horse, Danny McMenamin, big ride for Danny McMenamin. He's taken out some big handicaps before. Hasn't been seen for 350 days. Will that stamina last home? Graeme Rodway. Who would you want to be on at the moment? There's Jet and Lebroy, Kimberlite Candy, all fighting it out now.
Yeah, I'm very hopeful with my selection here. Kimberlite Candy's just on the shoulder of the leader, Lebroy, travelling quite well. And he's, as I say, he does usually stay very well. He just needs to stick with Lebroy. He needs to keep with him because I still get the feeling he might get outpaced at some point in this race.
Yeah, OK, then we've probably got around about 7 to chart. I'll tell you who's really now starting to warm up. The Red Lion is about to roar. Verlion Rouge goes into fourth. He will eat up the ground as Ramsey Detay starts to go backwards. Is he feeling that last win last month at Cheltenham? Just going over that, Lebroy took a little think about that, didn't they? Tricky fencing. That was indeed the canal turn. I got it right. Kimberlite Candy now eyeballing him. Jet comes back into third. Verlion Rouge. You just get the feeling that Conor Farrell is taking his time. Call it, Charlie Poste.
Kimberlite Candy, your eyes drawn to him constantly. Calypso Calange, actually, for an outsider who's running a big race. Ramsey Detay pecked badly over Beechers and was on the back foot, starting to work his way back into it now.
Lebroy absolutely flew that. Then we're around about 4 out. Calypso Calange, I'll tell you what, Ollie Murphy's going to be getting a little bit sighted now. The goggles come down on Smooth Stepper. Harry Bannister for Alex Hales, of course, has got him now. Anyone's race. Graeme Rodway's Lebroy absolutely walked through that last fence.
Yeah, come on, Kimberlite. He's moved into the lead now with that mistake from Lebroy. The Verlion Rouge is coming up. Very, very tightly congested field, isn't it?
Did you nap this in the scissors in the paper today, Kimberlite
I have
Candy?
tipped this,
He's flown 3 out. He's absolutely thrown. Did you nap it?
Yeah, well, I don't do naps. I always say that. I like to sort of keep my stakes consistent.
Now is not the time for telling me about your betting strategy, man. A simple yes or no answer would have sufficed. OK, then. Ramsey Detay coming up for a little bit more. The Verlion Rouge, I tell you what, he's probably the best handicapped horse in attendance. Surely he's the one that Kimberlite's now got to worry about. Lebroy coming back up as well. Jet now looking like he's feeling it. Calypso Calange, don't rule him out. They're turning for home. Darren Hughes, last look at the market.
LeBroy gone back into favour at the moment, Dave. 3.1, just a touch bigger than 2-1 in the fractional odds. Kimberley Candy 5.3, about a 9-2 shot. Having taken the lead, he's drifted back out. LeBroy travelling very, very strongly, but the eye is forever drawn to Leon Rouge at the inside for David Pipe and Conor O'Farrell. 2.2, a 6-5 shot at the moment. And 3's on, 4's on, 5's on. He's travelling very well. Looks like his race to lose.
Kimberlite Candy now look like he's feeling the pressure.
Over
goes the Lion. The Lion's absolutely flying. He's roaring today. Tom Scudamore didn't ride him. Conor Farrell did. He's over. Absolutely fantastic. We're approaching the elbow. You've got to steer the other way, Conor. Come on, he's got absolutely clear. This is all over, boys, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you can count your money now, Dave.
Never say never on the national. We've seen it before.
Only a Devon Lock scenario can beat you now, I think, you know.
Verlion Rouge, this is great to see. How many national fences has he gone over now? We had the stat yesterday. We'll talk about it in a minute. I think it's something like 223 successfully negotiated national fences. He comes clear. Different gravy. Lovely ride, Conor Farrell. If you were on the Lion, go and roar at your bookie and get it back. Super happy days. Looking like Kimberley Candy in second. LeBroy was he third, and Calypso Cologne perhaps the one to take out of it. First time back in action for Ollie Murphy, the 8-year-old there, in fourth. What a race. I'm going to ask what happened to a couple of others. Ramses Deteye fell in a hole, didn't he? Really eventful race. Were they going just trapping like mad, do you think?
I mean, I just thought they went a reasonable gallop. I must admit, for a lot of experienced handicap chasers on slow ground, it was pretty error-strewn around a jump-in from a lot of them. I mean, even the ones that were sort of completed, I thought Jet was in and out. Ramses Deteye made notable mistakes at the wrong moments.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Verlion Rouge, I think you put the stat in, he's jumped well over 200 national fences without failure.
Remarkable.
And probably he was the one that found rhythm throughout best of all, and he's come out a ready winner. He's off 140 today. Winning this will make sure he goes up enough for another crack back at the national itself, I'd imagine. And big day for Conor O'Farrell as well. Started off with David Pipe, based himself up north, now resurging a bit, and nice for him to come and ride a big winner for his former boss.
That is an absolute day in the sun for him, isn't it? And what a way to do it. I love the way that they took their time with him. He's a horse, if you remember, they used to have right up there. Gee, you've gone a bit red in the face. Was it a win-only bet?
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, I must admit there.
That was a blinding run. 322 9 days he'd been off. It's all about the national now, surely.
He don't get paid for second, mate.
Well, I don't know. Some markets you do.
You can't think there's any excuses as well, Graeme.
You put it up as a win bet, right? You put it up as a win bet.
I put him up as a win bet, backed him as a win, and he's traded at 2.56 in running, so around about 6 to 4. And his bet for SP I think was 22.3. So
let's just talk about him quickly. If you had your time again, do you think first time back, having watched the race last year, they probably thought we got going a bit too late? He probably filled his lungs at some point and had a blow and then ran on first time out, didn't he, last year? This time, it looked like maybe... Do you think they did a little bit too much too soon?
Not really. I mean, the winner's just blown them away, isn't he? He's run an absolute cracker in second.
He's got a Racing Post rating of 160, the 11-year-old VR Rouge, off a mark of 140 today.
I was going to say, boys,
£2 lower than his last
lightweight and slow ground as well. I mean, I think he's had to give...
I just love the way they took their time early with him.
He's had to give... I think Kimberley Candy's given him £13 or something. I don't think he's lost anything in getting beat here today. I don't think it takes away from his chance in the national movement.
No, definitely not. I mean, he looks for every inch at a Grand National.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Kimberlite Candy, certainly the further he goes, the better he's going to be. And the only thing you would say about Kimberlite Candy is he's all his best form is fresh. So I just wonder how many more times we're going to see him between now and Aintree. Well, maybe not too many.
It was Warwick in January was the next thing when he went to a classic chase, which he absolutely hosed up. That was off a mark of 140. What's he today? So he's 153. So look, you're not really going to be expecting to bag a big prize if you're now going all in for the national, are you? You just want to be running well in these races. In the old days when you train also national or aim it as an owner or a race planner, if you were asked where we get to national, you try and protect your mark, wouldn't you? Now with Tiger Roll hopefully still taking his place in the race. If not, Bristol Demai might even be top weight anyway. You know you're going to have a 170 horse, don't you? You know what you're going to need to get into the race.
I think you're very happy, aren't you? I mean, without being rude, I can't imagine his mark's going to change much from today.
No,
it certainly isn't going to go up for the national weights now. he's got 153, like you say, with a 170 horse in there. He's off a beautiful racing weight, and I would be surprised now if you see him running over fences before the national weights come out.
LeBroy's on a blinder, isn't he? He is off a competitive weight. If the handicapper just leaves him where he is, it's a nice, maybe the classic chase for him.
Yeah, possibly. He did make a couple of mistakes at crucial stage in the race, didn't he? That big one.
Just an 8-year-old, isn't he?
About 4 out, was it? When he really...
They will be delighted with that. Having spoken to Ben Pauling a couple of weeks ago, that National Hunt Chase, which Darren mentioned that he won, he absolutely... It was a mother and a father of a race, that, wasn't he? Yeah. They were walking, some very good horses didn't get home in that. It has taken him a whole season to get there. On the plus side, his handicap mark is now where they want it to be. Onwards and upwards with LeBroy, I think. There's the result on the screen. Then how did you get on? Did you follow in? The Red Lion, he roared. That's the second beach of him on his 6th run in the race. Great to see these old boys doing it. Kimberlite Candy, 14-1, Graeme Rodway's tip. Run a blinder. LeBroy, if you're on the anti-post gamble, each way, I'm assuming a lot of you will be happy with that. And Calypso Collonge, the 8-year-old. Ollie Murphy, look out for him. They'll have a target for him in 4th. Oh, OK, let's get some social media comments in. We're off and running here on Racing Post Live. It is Saturday the 5th of December. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and we must go to Sandown because we've got a fascinating novice chase coming up. It's the Henry VIII. Who's going to go off favourite? Will it be All Mankind? Will it be Hitman for Paul Nicholls? 2 4-year-olds dominating the betting. Let's get it up on the screen. See where Darren Hughes is playing.
I will just say very quickly, lads, we've put in Verley on Rouge at 50-1 for the national after that performance there. You would just wonder whether that was his national there and whether he'd back again in the springtime. But I just said I'd give that a plug. We've no prices yet for Kimberlite Candy. I'll update as soon as I can. In Sandown at the moment, All Mankind 3.5 is about a 5-2 shot and fractional odds. Pretty strong about that all morning. Hitman 3.8 around the 11-4 mark for Paul Nicholls. Eldorado Island then 4.5. Gala 6.6 and Phoenix Way 10.5. I should just add this is the £5 free bet drop offer on the exchange. So all exchange accounts except for basic rewards accounts get a £5 free bet on this race, which has led to a monumental amount of money being traded on the race. 1.8 million euros here in front of me, about 1.5 million pounds on the race, and we're still 7 minutes to the off. So phenomenal stuff here. Should be a really exciting race, dominated by 2 very exciting 4-year-olds getting obviously all the allowances. Should be a pretty breakneck speed here, or breakneck pace even with All Mankind in here. Really looking forward to this race.
Yeah, Darren, where are you trading then? Let's get this out of the way so everyone can react at home. Yarlo Enki went to the first. The only way is up now, my man.
Yeah, that's it. Jeez, we couldn't have gotten off the worst start, to be honest. That was pretty frustrating. There's nothing worse, I find, as a punter when your chances gone. Even you've nearly no interest in watching the race after that. But,
glad we still got you, Darren. Glad we still got you.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, if we have a bit more luck here. I've been an All Mankind fan for a long, long time. I think his style of running is perfectly suited here as well. Graeme touched on it earlier. The whole front runner bias. I have been in the last year just really come around to the idea of that if you're running from the front, you are at such an advantage, because to come from behind, you need the horses in front to stop you to come from behind. All things being equal, obviously, look, there could be pace collapses and various different things, but I'm a big fan of a front runner. This lad is a front runner, and I think he can put them all under serious pressure here. He jumped like a buck the last time out. I was so impressed. Like for a flat red horse to jump like he did. He literally pinged every single fence, and I think he can get them all out of their comfort zones here. He's by see the moon out of a saddle as well as mare, so soft ground shouldn't be that much of a hindrance to him. And arguably his best juvenile hurdling performance came in Chepstow, very heavy ground where he really ran them ragged. It's another front runner's track there. I think over fences at Sandown, you need to be on the front end. This lad has an awful lot going for him. I'm not really that interested in Phoenix Way. He was an okay hurdler. I think he benefited from a pace collapse. Hitman obviously has his chance, but I'd be just wary of taking that form literally, and I've never been a huge fan of Eldorado Allen. So look, I think we're gonna back All Mankind to win this race here, Graeme. So we got 40 quid in the win market, please, 3.55 or 3.5, whatever we can get matched at.
Graeme?
Yeah, 40 to win at 3.55. There we go.
A comprehensive case then for All Mankind. Thank you, Darren Hughes. I want to come to you with this, Charlie Post. It's a yard you're close to. The Skeltons. This is a freak, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I thought we'd seen the best of him after last year. I'm sad to say that I thought that maybe he'd be the sort of horse that'd never win again, And
it's every right to think that.
And after being beaten by Botox Has at Cheltenham on his reappearance, he didn't strike me as sort of horse that you were seeing as a natural chaser last season. I know full well the first day he ran at Warwick and won, they had no expectation. They thought that he was a lunatic that might blitz through a mile, pull up, and that'd be the last.
George
you'd see
Scott had him on the flat, didn't he? And they
Michael
tried
Bell,
to
no,
make,
Michael Bell.
Yeah, was it Michael Bell? Sorry,
I think
okay.
Michael Bell, yeah.
And they tried to make him into a classic horse, didn't they? At one point,
Yeah.
they tried him in a trial. He was just too keen.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
So
like
let's
I say,
get him over jumps.
Yeah, I mean, there was no, and like he went to Warwick with no expectations. He blitzed them at Warwick and went from strength to strength. And I thought maybe that as a precocious juvenile, and that would be the end of it. And like I say, I definitely didn't see him as an actual chase prospect.
Yeah.
What I will give credit to the Skeltons to do, they are phenomenal at getting these horses jumping, and
They
whether
are.
that comes from their dad or the background, but they put a hell of a lot of work into it.
Nick Skelton, of course, the gold medalist.
Exactly.
Eventer, yeah.
Boy, it showed at Warwick, because there's no getting away from the fact when you've got a crazy front runner like him that jumps like he does, it is exciting to watch.
Okay, so what are the negs? Because the form at Warwick, you like him, G, don't you, as well? We should get this out of the way.
Yeah, I think he'll win this. Yeah, I was impressed with him at Warwick. And at the time, a lot of people was sort of really slagging off the form of the Triumph, weren't they? Saying, the Triumph weren't a great race, because Gosham was miles clear and he fell. But it ain't that bad now, is it? When you look at what's come out of it. It was that Irish horse that beat Abracadabras. That ran in the... Yeah. One's
Henry
in
de Bromhead's horse.
orange and white colours.
Yeah.
Anyway, something Tower. Aspire Tower?
Yeah, Aspire Tower. Well,
yeah, so I mean that looks fairly decent form. All Mankind obviously come out and won over fences, so I don't think that was a bad run. His hurdles formed right there, and he jumped well at Warwick.
Yeah,
so.
and Zanza came out. Yeah. My worry about this, chaps, just giving it the argument for maybe taking him on. He's never been left-handed over jumps. That's a tick that he's not got.
He's only been left-handed.
He's not been right-handed. Yeah. Sorry, and my left and right. So
I'm the same.
He's done it again.
Yeah,
I'm awful with that. And I used to, I used to write it all the time in the paper, and the red pen would come out a lot, and Millington would be all over me for them. He's never been right-handed, it's a stiffer track. Okay, he's won at Cheltenham, but the beauty of today, chaps, I think we can agree, we've got the greatest jumping test that we can have on this show. I think we've got Aintree National Fences and we've got the railway fences at Sandown. He's going to get out in front. I think if anything leads him, it will be, to their detriment.
Nothing's going to lead him.
Nothing will lead him. I mean, although he didn't go as quick as you maybe expected him to at Cheltenham on his return.
But there's a difference between nothing leading him and him having a completely uncontested lead.
Because
now, GA Law,
yes.
will he harry him? So, like I say, there's a difference. I don't think anything will lead him to the first, but then whether Harry is able to fill him up and be coasting and take him back in front.
Because unlike Warwick, you're faced with a hill, right?
Of course, yeah. And like I say, if GA Law, as soon as Harry tries to take the gas off, is immediately sort of sitting on his girth, encouraging the horse to go quicker again, then it's going to make things difficult for him around the stamina sapping track on heavy ground. I love
this race. It's
a phenomenal race.
All of them are last time out winners. I think if you look down the roll call of the last 10 years, Alfarov, Captain Conan, Hinterland, Vibrato Vitat, Armad, Altior, So Royale, Dynamite Doris and Esprit de Large. Most of them had one last time out. Well, they're all ticking that box. Eldorado Allen, we think he got lucky last time, did we?
He definitely got lucky. And the bigger thing for him, because you don't see this often, I mean, his three main form rivals are all 4-year-olds, so he has to give them £6 as well.
Yeah, he is a course winner, of course, and he will like the ground. Phoenix Way, Darren said he wasn't sure about him. I've got to watch out for this horse. It was a pace collapse, Darren, you're right, at Warwick. Will that happen again?
I was going to say,
here?
as in, I know the boys are talking about that they like front runners, but it is all respective to what happens in the race on a given day. Now, if we end up with All Mankind going crazy fast and then constantly harried by GA Law and this turns into a war, Phoenix Way, surely ridden cold, could be a big closer late on.
Yeah, and Tamarak Jamatham, who looked a huge improver when he won at Huntingdon, was it Wincanton over at his first handicap with Chase? He's got a lot to fight. Hitman's my selection. I thought it was Imperious on his British debut. I know they like him a lot. I think he just should get the run of the race. So look, a fascinating prize in prospect. Puzzle, where are you going? Let us know. Keep your social media comments coming in here to Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, Charlie Post, Graeme, Rodway and Darren Hughes from Betfair as well. Last look at the market, Darren Hughes. All Mankind, clear favourite.
Yeah, All Mankind been very strong, Dave. He was matched down as low as 3.1. He's 3.15, 3.2 at the moment. Hitman a little bit weak, 4 from 3.6. Eldorado Allen is the one for money. He's 4 from 4.5, and that's where the money has come. Law is another one, 7.2. He's pretty much holding his price. The Phoenix Way has been a little bit weak. He went off at 17.2 BSP. They've just jumped there.
Flags up and they're off then. Thank you, Darren Hughes. Okay, feverish market. Who are we expecting to go on? All Mankind. Well, GA Law, that's what I'm going to call him in the commentary anyway. He is keeping wide, but he's going to keep him company. Over the first they go. All Mankind all safely over at Hitman. He was a bit keen on his British debut. He's just taken an enthusiastic tug, but this is going to suit him down to the ground. Eldorado Allen, as expected, tucking in just in midfield. And Phoenix Way, he's going to be the finisher in the race, we think. I was pretty impressed with him at Warwick. I wonder if they've got a plan for this horse. Could it be a big handicap? We'll see. If he wins this, of course, he will be looking down the marsh route, I would imagine, because he's going to stay as the season goes on. So Eldorado Allen now relegated to last. What sort of gallop are they going? Charlie Poste.
I think they're a fair gallop. I mean, but all these novices have jumped the first two well. But at Sandown, you meet the first two uphill, Dave, so you would expect that. They're probably the two easiest fences on the track to jump. We're now turning downhill. We could see an acceleration. They're going to meet this cross fence on the downhill, which will present the first real test for these novices. Swing into the back straight, and then we've got 7 fences in a line, one of the most exciting tests in jumping, and that's really going to sort out these novices where they're at.
Okay, superb. What great insight we're getting from Charlie Poste, of course, former big race jockey. Absolutely superb. Meeting the first couple on top of the other. So what we get here on Racing Post Live, the analysis is different gravy. Graeme, Rodway, who would you like to be on right now as GA Law walks through that fourth fence?
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake, wasn't it? It's actually done All Mankind a little bit of a favour, isn't it? Because it's got him a bit more of an easy lead. They seem to go off fairly fast up the hill, but now they're packed right back up, haven't they?
Yeah.
So he's slowing it down a little bit in front.
We're on the far side.
Be interesting to see. I just thought maybe at the second fence, All Mankind went a little bit to his left. No, he's straight as a die there, so he's fine there. Yeah, it's all to play for, isn't it? All 5 jumping well and going well.
I'd be mad keen to be laying him in running All Mankind. I've got to say, Darren, because he's not got away from his rivals. This is kind of what happened at Cheltenham. What's the market suggesting?
Yeah, he's not really getting his own way, and the market has come in favour of Hitman, who just seems to be sitting off the front two. He's 2.58 from BSP of 4. All Mankind is 3.9, around 11 to 4 mark, 3.2 BSP. Eldorado Allen then is 4.4. He's pretty much holding his price. Law is the big drifter. He's been the keen one out of the two front runners we knew would go. And Phoenix Way sitting out the back pole is holding his price at 17. But yeah, the market has really come in favour for Paul Nicholls' Hitman at the moment. He looks to be the one that might benefit from a pace collapse in front of him here at the moment.
So, thank you, Darren Hughes. We're over the second of the railway fences, which All Mankind just had a little bit of a look at there, Charlie.
Shifted away to his left over the first one. They come thick and fast now. 3 in a line. I mean, to be fair, the bar GA Law's one down the hill. They've all jumped well up to now.
Phoenix just had to think about that. Hitman wasn't great there, Charlie.
Got in a little bit tight to the last one there, and it's enabled All Mankind to all of a sudden steal 5 lengths off him.
This is where now surely the market's going to be going for him now, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely. They've gone pretty much All Mankind has just gone 4 to 5 in the run. About even money, 11 to 8 Hitman. Whatever price you like the rest, 24, 40 Law, 100 Phoenix Way. This is between the front two. All Mankind just gone.
Oh, there's people on the track.
Turning for home then. People on the track. People all over the place. Are they one of the 2,000?
He's got him in trouble here.
We're coming to 2 out then. Okay, All Mankind. What's he going to find up the hill? He's gone to his left every time. We're coming to this famous second last. They're bypassing 3 out, of course. GA Law now coming under the pump. The back markers are absolutely done. Eldorado Allen, he might be staying on late, but surely he can't get the 2 4-year-olds who are going clear. Phoenix Way's falling out the back of the television. 2 out then. Oh, he absolutely pinged it, but so did Hitman. I think we're going to be for a right old finish here, guys. All Mankind, this is where he could dig deep. The freak that is All Mankind. He's still leading. He's got about 2 lengths on Hitman, who's filling his lungs. Final fence. Up and over goes All Mankind. Hitman not done with at all. Has Harry Cobden saved it till late, or will All Mankind just keep ploughing through? At the moment, All Mankind, surely 101 shot. He's over the line. Here comes Hitman. All too little, too late. Misses the target. All Mankind shows himself to be a serious Arkle contender. 2 from 2 over fences. Charlie Poste, what did we make of that?
I thought that was a fantastic performance. We've learned a hell of a lot more about All Mankind, and you know, he didn't have it all his own way. He jumped a little bit away to his left. I think he'd be
loving it. He's loving it. He's giving it a large Skelton.
Oh, he's a boisterous character, Harry Skelton. Doesn't drink, and thank God, because he's lively enough without it. You know, as in a
bit like Graeme Rodway, of course.
And I mean, he'll love this. This will give him a big kick. A lot of people wrote this horse off before the start of the season, and for him to be now a Grade 1 winning novice chaser to go with the hurdle Grade 1. The Skeltons will love this. This will be a big day for them. And Harry, of course, got Politolo to come.
Yes.
Massive day for him. I mean, for a guy that's a household name, one of the top jockeys now. But
similar tactics we're going to see, aren't we?
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
He'd be positive again, won't he? And I mean, he rides with such confidence, and because he rides these horses at home all the time, he's at home all the time doing all the schooling. He has such belief in their jumping ability. You know, I mean, like, All Mankind wouldn't be for every jockey now. You know, with the lunatic tendencies he has. But Harry Skelton never even bats an eyelid about it, and he kicks him into everything like he's going to soar all of them, you know.
The key to the race for me was the final railway fence, where Phoenix Way dropped out, Eldorado Allen, GA Law, probably been outclassed, but it was 4 out, wasn't it? And Hitman wasn't great there. He just maybe left his back hind legs in it a little bit, and that allowed All Mankind to go clear. That's what that horse does to his rivals, isn't it? You see these front runners on the flat, they just keep going, a bit like a Gayeth, for example, G. They then can get in that slight breather and kick again, can't they? That's where they break their rivals' hearts.
Yeah, it looked like that. What happened, wasn't it? Was like coming down the hill after that cross fence, going towards the start of the 7. Fences down the back straight. Harry Skelton definitely slowed it up in front, didn't he? They packed right up as a group. And even though you were saying in running, Dave, that you're a bit worried because All Mankind wasn't getting away from him, I don't think Harry wanted to get away from him. He was trying to fill him up.
I'd have done my brains if I was allowed to.
I think what you're seeing here as well, you're talking about the flat front running thing, but also when you bring chase fences into the argument when you're a good jumper. So I think the pivotal moments were the downhill fence, Harry was able to wing that and immediately take back and fill up. And then the last one down the back, the last railway fence, as you said, he got a flyer. His main market rival got in tight. All of a sudden, he's got 5 lengths and he's able to fill up again as they stretch out towards the pond fence and they bypass. Yeah. And so it's only going to help him get home. And this is where it's going to be a major advantage for this horse.
Now.
Yeah. And look how positive Harry Skelton is. You know, I mean, he knows this is a pivotal part of the race and he's going to try and make it count. Every single one of those 3, he's absolutely flew against where his rivals haven't done, and it can only conserve energy, get him distance that's going to help him maintain his finishing effort up this very arduous hill at Sandown.
Yeah, and making up that ground. I think we've seen 2 smart 4-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be my opinion.
The second probably is going to be coming into his own over further, isn't he, in time?
He's one of these ex-French horses.
He's got done for pace, hasn't he, by the winner. Just gone to his left, hasn't he, a little bit over a few of the fences there.
Yes, he has.
Mankind. Certainly looks like he'd be better going left-handed.
I'd say they can't wait to get him back the other way.
Yeah, but it's not going to be a problem.
But he's a Grade 1 winner now. Like they really won't care. You know?
What do you think Shishkin's going to make of this then out there? Let us know. Let's see what we'll go to Darren Hughes. Let's go. Here we go. Let's send it to Punchestown. Nothing beats Shishkin. Great timing, Dave Winder. Good to have you back on the show, Dave. Mark Smith back on. I guess good jumpers win races. Who knew? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, indeed, if you were on All Mankind. Like Graeme, Rodway, Charlie Post fancied it as well. Darren Hughes, what about the anti-post market on the sportsbook?
Yeah, so All Mankind is now at 12-1, Pope for 25 for the Arkle. And Hitman, we were also suitably impressed with him. He's halved in price. He's now 16 from 33 for the Arkle. That was very, very good, I think. That was really, really good. I haven't seen a novice jump around Sandown like that in quite some time. He hit a high of 5 in the run. I think people just thought that he was being harried and harassed by Gala, but he just outclassed him. I'm really, really taken by that. Hitman hit a low of 2.1 in the run when it looked like he might just make ground on All Mankind, but I think you're spot on, Dave. That last railway fence was the winning and losing at the race. He pinged that. I'm very, very taken by that, and I'm really, really happy that horse has come back. As Charlie alluded to earlier, it did look like he might just be gone at the game when he got beaten at Cheltenham by Botox Taz, but fences have clearly reinvigorated him. I'm struggling to put into words how taken I was with that. That was really, really good. I'm glad to make the few quid for charity there as well with a winning bet.
Can't keep a good man down, Darren. Absolutely right. Don't just get real-time analysis of the races here, of course, on Racing Post Live. Anti-post advice as well. Where would you rather be? It's back up to Aintree, go we. It's a mares listed novice hurdle. Let's get up there and have a look. There's a hot pot here. My nap of the weekend runs is Megan. Where is she in the market? Darren Hughes.
She's very, very strong in the market, Dave. She is our current favourite at 2.34, which is about 11 to 8. She was a high of 15 to 8 matched already today, so punters have really come for her. Scholastic then the Irish Raider for Joseph O'Brien is a 7.2 chance, about 6 to 1. Hiconic then for Alec Tales and Keelan Woods is 9.2. Bellatrix has been the one for money, matched at a high of 19 overnight. She is now a 9.0 shot for Venetia Williams. She went to 80 grand to buy her out of Michael Dodds after a flat handicap win at Newcastle. And then the one there's been a few whispers for in Ireland this week, Army of One for Gavin Cromwell, bought out of Germany, hasn't jumped a hurdle in public as yet, but there was a few whispers going around this week that she was quietly fancied. Of course, this yard has won this race twice with Jer's Girl, and the second horse, the name escapes me, but They do know how to go and win a race like this. It's not the strongest listed race in the world. It's probably one of the easiest bits of black type you'll get for a filly all year. So yeah, look, Megan has taken a small little bit of a drift in the market, 2.44 now, but she would look to have strong claims.
Famous Millie was his other winner. He stole my thunder there. I was going to say that is an interesting one from Gav Cromwell. It's a race he has plundered successfully before Tom Scudamore on. Okay. Did we get your trade in, Darren?
No, we did not. And in spite of my words, I am going to take Megan on here. I think we're going to lay her. I would sooner have the field running for me at 8 to 11 than her running for me at about 11 to 8. I think there's a few interesting ones in here. I'm annoyed I missed the price of Bellatrix. I know a 9.4 is probably still fair enough, but she was a high of 19. And when I miss a price like that, I usually sulk a little bit. I usually don't try and chase it down. So let's get after Megan here. Let's lay her to win 40 quid. We'll put up 60 quid against her, Graeme, if that's all right. We'll try and win about 40 quid. Anything 2.5 or below, I'm happy to lay her at.
We're all already going head to head then, Darren, myself and yourself. That's what we love here, a bit of rivalry on the show, isn't it? I'm very keen on a Graeme. Is that all sorted? Business
Yeah,
done?
so we're on your £40 lay at 2.48, and if Megan wins, we'll lose 59, and if she loses, we'll win 40.
Well, okay, happy days. All right, fair enough. With the trade is there. Am I on to one here?
With Megan?
Yeah.
I mean,
a horse going forward, obviously the market suggests she's a hot price favourite, but...
I mean, look, it's a listed race in name only. Do you know what I mean? As in, like, it often is.
Well, you mentioned that, Charlie. I mean, it's a long time since a very good filly won it. Unique one.
No, but I mean, as in, it isn't really even up to listed standard for me, you know, as in it's a juvenile fillies race at Aintree, and Megan was very impressive at Leicester. I think two of her market rivals take her back on again today. I can't see any reason why they're going to turn the form around. You've got Scholastic travelling over for Joseph O'Brien, has shown a modicum of form over the summer.
Yeah.
Hiconic, I mean, who's got a form boost. Dufflecoat obviously won the grade 2 at Cheltenham for Gordon Elliott. Finished second to him at Wetherby last time, would be a player.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of first-time out horses here, which shows that it isn't that strong a race because they're immediately dipped into listed company. Bellatrixer, I mean, 72 rated flat mare. Of course, her indoors, Alan King, 3 from 8 in the last 8 years.
The Unique being one of them.
You know, it targets this race as well. Yeah. So you have to respect a man like that. Alan King, obviously brilliant with juvenile hurdles.
So where are you playing?
I actually was. I went with Scholastic just purely for form in the book. Ran well on the flat at Nace last time out, and I like that bit of experience. I thought Megan personally could be the real deal. I thought 5 to 4 was short enough in a race of this nature.
She was around about 13 to 8 when the books opened last night. She has been done. All the owners have gone up there. They've got Classic Ben at Sandown as well. They've got these owners. I tell you, they've got their figures of some very interesting pies going forward as well. Does he know Kim Bailey as well? But it's a different partnership and different colours. But they've got horses in a lot of yards. Aintree was their port of call. Steve Mason, the Racing Post handicapper. If you're looking at your tipsters today, he's put it up as her nap as well. She could be different gravy. She travels really well. At Leicester. You're like, what on earth is this? And the form has got a big boost because Volkanova, the fourth, who walked through the last 2 hurdles that day, has come up and sluiced up in a similar sort of race at Market Race as well for Fergal O'Brien. I'm just hoping that she's different gravy to this lot, basically. I think they're expecting to win. So you never know second time out with a filly, Charlie, do you? You hope they've just kept their strength. But I think if she takes a forward step, you might see...
Yeah, I mean, look, she probably... doesn't even need to really improve on that Leicester form. I think if she runs back to that level, she wins this. You know, Leicester heavy ground, stamina's not going to be an issue. Whatever the ground conditions are testing at Aintree, but that's not going to be a problem. Leicester's as bad a ground as you get anywhere on that hurdle track when it gets proper soft.
I've never heard a jockey talk well of Leicester.
I'll be honest. I actually don't mind riding. No offence over there. A lot of people hated it, but
Matty Batch on last Saturday was like, oh, I hate
really?
it.
And I never had a problem with it. But I mean, you are talking. They are like chalk and cheese. I mean, you get quick round in the middle of the wettest winter in the world over fences at Leicester because they never race on that track. The hurdle track, for anyone that doesn't know, is the flat track, and therefore they water it all summer. So come the winter, you get bottomless ground. It's also on the inside, lower down.
Can turn very quickly. Graeme, Rodway, just quickly before they jump off, your selection.
I think you'll want to win, Dave.
Happy days.
Yeah, was the best horse of these on the flat in Germany, was it, or something like that?
Yes, it was.
And looks super over hurdles first time up, and I think she'll win. Of course, the problem is this sort of race, you've just got a bunch of unknowns against you, and there could be anything in there.
No newcomers have won this race in the last 10 years. Some very unexposed fillies have done it. Lou Unique, who showed herself to be a right top-notcher.
Oh, they're taking out the hurdles.
She was fourth just coming into it. Oh, they're dolling off. They're dolling off the... no, this is Aintree again, isn't it, over hurdles? We said Charlie Head-Shaking Post was going to call you there.
Yeah, I mean, look, as in...
It's a
nightmare. I mean, there surely has to be something done about timings of races and whatever else, as in, because...
Sun, they're emitting...
All I would say, I know people are going to say it's a joke and that, but from a riding point of view, when the sun is directly in your eyes, you can't see, you got to worry the horses can't see what's going on.
It's a modern thing, this, isn't it? Is it?
I mean, there's lots of things are modern, Dave, that we bring in, like,
2020.
Welfare and all those things have become modern, so it is a tricky one. Well, I don't know what the right solution is. I think timings have to be thought out much better.
Well, we could talk about this. It's a big thing. What do you and Darren, just quickly, surely, if you're on the likes of Bellatrixer, you've never run over a hurdle before. Your connections, you're thinking to yourself, all of a sudden, I fancy my chances a bit more.
Yeah, well, you seem to be in tune there with the market, Dave, because that is exactly how it's spoken. She's now a 6.6 chance. She was about 9.2 when we spoke earlier on, and as I said, she was 19 overnight. So obviously the taking out of the hurdles for a filly who's never jumped a hurdle in public is seen as a massive advantage, and she's obviously a very strong stayer as well. Venetia Williams doesn't go to 80 grand for juveniles to run them over hurdles. It's just not her crack. You correct me if I'm wrong there, but for her to go for 80 grand for a horse like this probably does suggest she sees something in it. Look, this is a horse that definitely won't be stopping when a few more of them might. Scholastic is probably the drifter here. She's probably the best jumper in the field, I'd say. Joseph was her tune to the last, or school to the last. She jumped really, really well in all her starts so far, but in terms of raw ability, she mightn't just be as good as some of these. So the hurdles are going to make a difference. Bellatrix are very strong in the market now, 6.0 from, as I said, a high of 9.2 today and 19 overnight.
Well, it looks like we're going to have... I don't know how many of those they'll be jumping. Just about 6 or something, were they? Not that many.
No, not even that, Dave. Unfortunately, it'd be 3 down the back. 4. And 4. The
4 hurdles jumped. Yeah. Unbelievable. We saw this, you remember, Old Rowan Day last year where they took out all those fences. Frodon got beaten by Forrest Behan. Yes. Spoke to Brian Ellison about that, who trained Forrest Behan, who was, of course, the horse that could have won a group race over a mile too. He was like,
static.
Get on!
So you're on Megan at a short price. Are you irritated?
Not. It's because she's just had the one run. I think if I was on Scholastic, I might, or Iconic, who've got that experience, key experience, that would angst me a little bit more. Not quite so much, no. I'll be honest. Something interesting you said to me when we came into the office earlier, we were talking about Aintree. I told you how much I like this filly and the owners did as well. And I said about Leicester and, the track Aintree. You said it's a long way home in that home straight, isn't it?
It's one of the longest straights in the country. And look, granted, on spring ground in April, it's a different proposition. But when the ground is slow here, I wouldn't ever be... When people are saying to you, it's a speed test, it definitely isn't a speed test at this time of year on heavy ground.
No matter where we are.
Even
faking them.
And like I say, with these 3-year-old fillies, when they turn in, they've got well over half a mile, wide open space to run at. Yeah. You need to stay very well to win these sort of races.
We've got a 225 at Sandown. It's just, of course, the Tingle Creek. We wanted to have a chat about Altior. We've put our 7 pennies worth in. Let's hear what you think about No Altior as well, coming up in the 225. But we'll go back to Aintree, because it looks like finally, thankfully, they are about to be off. And off they go. Okay, who's going to adopt the front running role? Megan's just got a nice sit on the inside, about third. Is that Iconic up there?
Iconic,
it looks like it is. Going to try and put whatever experience she can to use over one of the hurdles with jumping. Megan pops it nicely, as I said, on the inside. Army of One, just looking for that out the back at the moment. Gav Cromwell maybe showed her inexperience there. Being taken on up front is Iconic by Talking About You. Also the 12 horse, 10,000 stars for the aforementioned Brian Ellison as well. Looking for Bellatrixer, Darren Hughes, just in about 4th spot. You'd be happy with that?
Absolutely, Dave. Yeah, look, she jumped first pretty well. I know it's only one hurdle. Megan has been a big drifter in the market. She's now 3.2 from a BSP at 2.36. Scholastic is 8.8. Iconic, despite running, is 12.5. Bellatrix is the one for money again. 4.3, about a 10 to 3 shot from a BSP at 6.6. And as we said, the big gamble for her beforehand. Talking About You, a few quid for that. 12.5 from 17.2. See the Eagle Fly 16 from 19. But they don't look to be going an absolutely breakneck speed here. A couple of them pulling for their heads ever so slightly. I'd
imagine that's why Megan has drifted out a little bit, because she's on the inside. She wants a bit more cover there. Sam Tristan-Davis fighting to find that. She looks all right to me, though. Muddling gallop, Graeme.
Yeah, it looks like it could be bit messy later on, doesn't it? They're all sort of packed in. This gamble on Bellatrixia is absolutely relentless. You know that. I mean, it was strong before the race, and they absolutely love her in the race as well.
She's the same as Christopher Wood. Do you remember who used to be with Paul Green on the flat? For I think it was Gary Moore when it went to Paul Nicholls, made himself up into a 130 hurdler.
Almost favourite, almost favourite in
well,
money.
she's settled beautifully. She's a horse that won over 2 mile on the flat. The straight shouldn't be a problem. Bearing that in mind, we've got no hurdles in the home straight, Charlie. Which one do you want to be on at this point?
I mean, look, I think still, Megan has box seat where, Sam Twiston-Davis has perfect position. I mean, all I would be saying is if we got a muddling gallop on here, Hiconic, fillies with talent that are in upsides in front have to be to an advantage.
Something's completely tailed off. So is it Scholastic is completely tailed off?
Scholastic's fallen out the back of the telly then, so unlucky if you're with that one. So Bellatrix are now starting to put a bit of pressure on to the front runners up on the outside. This is interesting. Army of One just coming into a little bit for Gav Cromwell. Her indoors, who Poste mentioned, she jumped that okay. Megan's going all right on the inside. In fact, she's absolutely cruising, just saving it for the home straight. Yeah, Army of One catching my eye. Darren Hughes, 3 to go.
Yeah, very tight here at the top of the market. Megan at 3.1, Bellatrix at 3.0. Pretty much joint fast at the moment. Her indoors one for money, 7.2 for 25.8. BSP. Army 1 is halved in price. BSP at 30, now trading about 15 at the moment. Eye is constantly drawn, travelling very, very well within her comfort zone. But it looks like it might just focus on the top 2 in the market. The one for money, Bellatrix and Megan. Megan about 11 to 8 shot, 2.4 at the moment. Bellatrix is 6 to 4 and constantly changing.
Highmore Flyer, who was second to Megan last time, not totally out of this either. Okay, we're approaching the bend into the home straight. I think this will be the last, lads. And it is talking about you for Sean Curran and Harry Bannister. Megan on the inside, absolutely cruising now. This is where Bellatrix is going to have to really pick up, I think. Will she have the turn of foot? Looking, her indoors isn't out of this either. She was progressive on the flat, albeit at a modest level. Okay, call it. Graeme, Rodway into the home straight.
Yeah, I think the leader's still going well, talking about you. It's a long, long way up this straight, as Charlie's already said, but the leader's really travelling well. Bellatrix is in trouble, come hard off the bridle now. Megan cruising up there. Dave, you must be getting quite excited now.
I'm getting a little bit excited, I've got to be honest with you. And when you see the runner-up from last time, the High Moon Flyer going that well, you know that she's going to beat that by at least a couple of legs. Come on then, what will she find? She has been keen. Her indoors, surely the only danger now. Maybe it's up front, talking about you, Charlie Poste.
She's
Is she
not
now
found
coming
anything.
under pressure?
Talking about you has them all on the stretch here. I think we're going past the bypass last hurdle now.
Too keen.
Right now, they're going to have to do something and pick up quickly if they're going to overturn this leader.
This is another winner from the front, it looks like. She could have done with some hurdles, maybe, Megan. I think she's just been that little bit outpaced, hasn't she? This is one from the front again. Harry Bannister, Sean Curran, rated 118. It has got them all on the spin and not for catching. They're fighting it out for second. Her indoors and Megan, too keen through the early parts. I think the Fav, clear-cut winner. Another one from the front. This is an unbelievable sequence of events, isn't it? Take a bow, Harry Bannister, bull by the horns, off you go. Graeme, Rodway.
Never in doubt if you're on the leader.
Lots of experience, didn't she? And she made that move early doors.
Yeah, I mean, she's actually bolted up in the end, didn't she? Won by a long, long way, and was much the best on the day. And I think you'd be a bit disappointed with the finishing effort of the Fav, wouldn't you, David? She travelled beautifully through the race, but maybe a little bit too strongly. Charlie, would you say, like, if you've got horse that's really keen, can that be a bit of an issue if they take the hurdles out? Because sometimes, I was speaking to Tinks about this, sometimes you can get them in close to a few hurdles and that will just settle them off a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, what you find with a keen going horse is sometimes obstacles can back them off a bit, as in it makes them sort of think about what's going on in front of them and breathe rather than just constantly trying to run through the bridle, which means when the horse wants to go fast and the jockey wants to try and control them to do so. I mean, being straight up though, from a form point of view, you may as well tear this up and chuck it in the bin. I mean, it's without being rude, I mean, you've got the most experienced horse in the race that's dictated terms in a slowly run race with no hurdles to jump. I mean, like I say, credit to Harry Bannister and Sean Curran. They got a listed winner, but I don't think it means much for the future.
There'll be no ripples for the Triumph market, for example, will there? But listen, 3 have come clear. They've got their black type. You can be a bit more disparaging about it. Again, we're seeing the hurdles out at Aintree, isn't it? That's a theme that the officials up there are not going to want. There we are then, 14-1 shot. Talk about you. Sees off her indoors, probably the one to take from the race.
Yeah, I mean, look, from a hurdles debut point of view, I'd have thought Alan King's going to be very happy with that. And yes, I would imagine moving forward, she is the one that probably has the profile to progress most.
And I'll do an inverted commas for the first time on the show. Black type, of course, they've got now, those three.
The sacred black type.
The sacred black type, which of course is all important for their breeding careers.
That's still a thing nowadays, is it, black type?
Yeah, it's a massive thing.
Why do we need black type in these days? I mean, you can just go online and stick the horse's name in the Racing Post and see what they've done.
Of course, but let's just talk about black type quickly for people that are like, what are they on about?
So from a breeding point of view, for the mare especially, you know, once they go to stud and have babies, if the mare has black type, which means that she's been placed in a race of listed level or above, one, that it sort of flags her up as being an above average racehorse, which from a point of view when their offspring are then offered at the sales, can at times make them more valuable.
So geez, do you all not wear glasses at the sales?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's
there
in bold type, so you can see it and say, have a look at this one. This sort of black type being straight up is going to be worth an awful lot. You know, we're not talking about like a Lorena or something. When some of her offspring turn up.
Tell that to Sean Curran, mind. He's just won a listed race at Aintree.
And credit for that.
Over the moon. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, did it the nice and positive way. Were any of you on? Let us know. But we've got to move on. Sandown, we've got 9 minutes to the Tingle Creek. Oh, one of the jewel in the crowns of the jump season each year. Let's get the market up before we dissect the race and go to Darren Hughes for an update there.
It's a jewel in the crown, all right, but not important to Nicky Henderson anyway. He thinks it's not that important. The Road to Cheltenham is much more important. Of course, the Betfair Tingle Creek, Little Log heads our market at 2.5. He's about a 64 shot. Grenadine, then the up-and-comer, is 3.4. He's just shy of 5-2. Rouge Vif, that impressive handicap winner at Cheltenham last time out, is 5.6 for Gavin Sheehan. Still waiting for a winner since he's come back from injury. He's been off in 33 or 34 now. Castle Grace Paddy then for Pat Fahey and Brian Cooper, 12.5. The Irish Raider, he loved this soft ground. And brewing up a storm then for Ollie Murphy. Very disappointing at Carlisle last time, but probably too bad to be true. He is currently 19.0.
Thank you, Darren Hughes. OK, got in your first swipe there, didn't you? Betfair was quite slow to react last night. Did it catch you on the hop? Were you all out having a substantial meal in Ireland by any chance? It was still 4-1 at Politolog and out 5-4 Altior. Lots of people said to me, why haven't Betfair reacted yet? And of course, then he came out.
Look, these things happen. It's just an issue of it pulling out the system. You know, it can happen at times. Of course, all bets will have rule 4s. Anyone that backed this once the declarations are made. Of course, I know a couple of people are on Grenadine at 20s anti-post. They'll be quite happy sitting on that ticket at the moment. Look, it's still a competitive little race, despite Altior not running. I thought he was a smashing bet of 4-5 myself before he came out, but such is life. I don't really know what the idea is with him. Like, he's 10 rising 11. I don't know what they're saving him for. He has maybe 6 or 8 runs left in his life. You know, it's not like a novice that you're trying to protect for the future. Like, this is a very well-established horse. He's only beat once over fence. I don't know why you're trying to protect him. Okay, if he gets beat, he gets beat. No one cares. No one's going to disparage the horse for that. Look, it's frustrating on the eve of a race like this, but it is what it is. I think the one that might benefit from it is Grenadine. He's the up-and-comer. I know he's a little bit defined here with Politolog as stablemate, but Harry Cobden opting for him is obviously a massive positive. I wouldn't have been as negative on his Holland Gold Cup win as some were. Some thought it wasn't that impressive, but the time was very, very good in the context of the rest of the card. He was actually quite fast, probably a career best from the second, and he did win snugly enough in the end. I think the softer ground here will help bring him into it a little bit more, and I'm happy to punt him in and around the 3.35, 3.4 mark. He's come in now for money, 3.15 now. We're still happy to back him at that.
Get your trade on then, Graeme, can we?
Let's go 40 quid, Graeme, please, if we can. 40 quid when we'll stick to the stakes. We're going for
Grenadine
at the moment.
Grenadine,
win only, yeah.
Win only 40 at 3.2. Yeah.
Grenadine. It's a tricky name to pronounce.
Okay, that's something. £88 if he wins.
Happy days. Okay, we know what Darren Hughes thinks about the race. Let's just get a line then from each of us then. When did you find Altior was out last night, Charlie? It was around about 8 o'clock last night.
Yeah, as in, I think I found out fairly soon. I was probably trawling Twitter or something like that, you know, as we do.
Hi.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. The joys of it. Look, as in, I hear what Darren's saying. I find it frustrating. What I hope that doesn't happen is in a few days' time we find out there's actually something wrong with him. You know, I think it's Nicky Henderson's it's up to Nicky Henderson if he wants to pull him out, like I say. But I just hope we're getting told the truth, you know. I mean, but I find it disappointing when we hear about, we're protecting him for Cheltenham. Now, if that is the only reason he's not running today when he's won a champion chase on soft ground, I find it deeply frustrating.
We know what happened last year, though, don't we? You know,
we know what happened last year
on rough ground.
I was going to say, we know that he was underprepared against the hard-fit Surname, who was playing on his home turf, 2.5 miles round Ascot, and he got blitzed, and it probably took a hell of a lot out of him, ruined his season. I don't think this is the same scenario, personally, Dave.
It's a crusher for people.
He's beat Hundaso here, lad. He's beat Hundaso here when Hundaso was in his prime on bottomless round around Sandown.
Yeah.
That is Hundaso's, that are his optimum conditions, and Altior made him look slow that day. I can't understand it. There's no way that it would have been so detrimental that he couldn't beat Politolog, who he's beaten 7, or was it three times out of 3, never got within 7 lengths of him. Definitely could have beaten Grenadine, Rouge Biff, a handicap winner. If your champion chase, 2-time champion chase winner is afraid of horses like that,
there's no doubt he would have gone odds on, I think. G, let's give you the floor on this.
First of all, I don't get the argument about this Surname, he wasn't right and all this next time. If you look at that run against Surname last year in terms of pure ratings, right, that is one of Altior's best runs.
There we are.
Like 177 Racing Post rating. First time out against Surname. Now, Henderson has come out and said that he didn't think that Altior was right, and that he was much. He actually said earlier in the week that Altior was much straighter this year, for this year's reappearance, than he was for that Surname run last year. I don't think there was any disgrace in that run at all last year when he got beaten by Surname. Surname is an absolute superstar of a horse around 2.5 miles at Ascot, and the fact that he beat Altior out of sight is no slight on Altior at all. It just shows you how the two great horses running 2 fantastic races.
So why has he pulled him out?
Oh, I don't get this at all. Yeah, I don't.
What I mean, the Surname run, is there's this clamour for horses to be like Cato Star, isn't there? To be versatile and do all that. And so from Altior's running style, everyone's going, he wants further. What I'm saying is, from a first time out run point of view, he's dragged him up in trip against the best 2.5 mile in chaser round his home turf, in theory, right?
Trying to make him into King George or something.
And
that.
Up against Paul Nicholls, who probably is thinking, the last thing I want to do is let anyone have a horse that's going to be compared to Cato Star. So he has made it the be-all and end-all of Surname season, because, being honest, Surname didn't really go on to do much after Ascot last year.
Behind the
It broke Surname, didn't it? It absolutely broke.
But what I'm saying is, you can't use a Surname argument as a reason for Altior not running today. I think it's deeply disappointing, unless we find out something is actually wrong with Altior.
Do you think they've become a bit obsessed with that, beating that big bucks record, the world record of the win 1-1-1-1-1-1, because this is what they're scared of losing today? Coming second to Politolog, the champion chaser, there'd be no problem with that. He'd go to Desert Orchid on Boxing Day, couldn't he? And we're talking about a rising 11-year-old.
Charlie said, and I think that Charlie hit the nail on the head. The quotes for me from Henderson regarding why he isn't running are a bit alarming. I don't like the argument that nothing else matters apart from Cheltenham. He pretty much said, all that matters this year is Cheltenham.
11-year-olds don't win champion chases, do they? They just don't.
It's 3.5 months to the champion chase. It's not like it's next week, or it's not like it's next month even. It's 3.5 months. Yeah, I mean, Paul Nicholls is almost taking a similar sort of argument this year with Politolog. I mean, I think he said last year that the horse has bled, and he's gonna give him a long break between his races.
Bled in this race last year, didn't he?
Yeah, bring him in fresh. And I think Paul Nicholls said at the start of the season, we've got 2 main aims for Politolog this year. The first one is the Tingle Creek.
Yeah.
And then we'll keep him fresh for Cheltenham. They're our 2 main aims. What's wrong with Nicky Henderson doing the same?
No, an album photo. We know that he turns up at Tremor, don't we, and then goes and wins the Gold Cup. So look, Henrietta Knight used to do it with Best Mate.
Well, she got pilloried.
She did,
absolutely. For that. And Best Mate would only run 3 times a year. But you're talking about Altior only run twice last year. And how many times is he going to run this year?
But there's nothing wrong with doing that if that's what you state you're going to do.
And he is in the twilight of his career.
I think the issue is that at the last minute they've now ducked this for reasons that really don't make a lot of sense.
No, they don't, because he's got loads of forms.
For me, that's what it is as well.
It is a bit of a shame, isn't it? All those people going there today. I've got the Altior ticket. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's not just that, right? This goes into a wider argument about racing in general. There's a lot of arguments from trainers about the lack of prize money in horse racing. Now, if you want to get money into horse racing, you need to get people into horse racing. If you want to get people into horse racing, you need to see the superstars run on the big days.
They don't give a monkeys about that.
Every single week. week, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, ITV have been getting over 1 million viewers for big Saturday races. How many viewers today are going to log on to watch ITV's coverage today, thinking, I can't wait to see Altior, and then they're going to see that he's not running it, and they'll just switch off. And they are racing fans that we could have had putting money into our sport that we might lose because of that.
Yeah, okay. I think we've pretty much said what we've got to say. You get your say in as well. We can do that here on Racing Post Live. Let's have some more socials coming in. Where are you out there? Facebook Live, YouTube as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. It's all important to us here. Big year in 2021 coming up for RP Live. Still plenty left in 2020, of course. Okay, so who is going to win the race? It's Politolog for me. Happy days.
Greanatine for me on the upgrade, I think.
Up and comer with Darren Hughes.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. Politolog.
A two-way split on the team then. They're off and running, and as expected, well, I say as expected, Politolog right up there, but Gav Sheehan is going to have something to say about the lead as well on Rouge Vif. Imperious, wasn't he, in that handicap, on good ground at Cheltenham. Over they go at the first. Castle Grace Paddy had a little bit of a think about it out the back. Already brewing up the storm. The first time tongue-tied for him, he's being taken off his feet because they're not hanging around here, guys, are they? We've got 11 fences to jump. Politolog got into a lovely rhythm already under Harry Skenton. Greanatine, as he did when scraping home in the Holden Gold Cup, is having a right old pull for Harry Cobden on the inside. Rouge Vif now says to Harry, no, after you. You're ensuring it's a nice... and what a sight that is. We can see the reverse camera there. 2,000 fans screaming home the Tingle Creekers at Sandown. Charlie Post, let's come to you. We've had 3 fences already so far. What sort of gallop?
Harry Skelton's gone quick again early like he did on All Mankind. I'd say he's going to try and stack them up now as they run down the hill. Dave, I've got to go against you. Greanatine is in a lovely switched off rhythm, handy down the paint. He's got a perfect slot. He is not keen at all, so don't worry about that if you're watching. He's got a slightly awkward head carriage. Rouge Vif in a good slot, and then the other two behind. Castle Grace Paddy's jumped left early on, brewing up a storm. They thought he didn't stay the last day, and he looks a little bit outpaced for me, back down in trip over 2 mile.
He's interesting brewing up a storm, isn't he, with trip, I think, this season going forward. And he's not really having a cut at the fences at the minute. Darren Hughes, let's come to you. The market after 4 or 5 fences.
Yeah, the market's piling in behind yet another front runner here, Dave. Politolog is 185, but a 45 shot from a BSP at 228. Greanatine a bit of a drifter, 4.2 from 3.93 BSP. Rouge Vif could run for him, 4.5 from he was BSP at 4.5. The big drifters are Castle Grace Paddy and brewing up a storm is trading at any price you like, pretty much. They look to be going a fairly good clip here. You'd wonder, is Politolog, can he see it out? He's had problems with stamina before, but over 2 miles he's probably okay. This looks to be a fairly an evenly or a competitively run race, so let's see how they finish.
The fact that Rouge Vif in here shows you that the ground is much, much better on the chase course, isn't it? We've just had All Mankind leading from the front, 2 going clear at this point. As we come up to the railway fences, Charlie Post.
Politolog jumping brilliantly. I mean, he's quite a sight, isn't he, this grey horse, when he's in full flight like this. Rouge Vif applying pressure the whole way. Gavin Sheehan, I mean, mighty effort off 156 last time. And where else are you going to go, Dave, than take his chance here? Yeah. Greanatine stalking them through as they come to the first of the railway fences. All 3 up front jumping it well. I think you can discount the 2 in behind them.
Will this suit Greanatine, the fact that 2 are taking each on slightly up front, Graeme, Rodway?
Well, I think this is what Harry would have been wanting on Politolog. He needs to stretch him. He needs to run the finish out of them. He is the stayer in the field at the distance. I think that coming out of those 3 railway fences, this is probably exactly what Harry Skelton wanted, to be in front. He wants them all lining up behind him. He thinks he's going to outstay them, but we're going to find out.
We're getting a replay of the Henry VIII, aren't we now? Harry Skelton in front, Harry Cobden stalking.
Rouge Vif feeling the pinch.
Are we going to get a turn of events and a flip round from the race before?
They're bypassing the pond fence, don't forget. So 2 to go in the 2020 Tingle Creek. Politolog, now the young pretender. Greanatine comes up sides. Can Castle Grace Paddy pick up some pieces? He did last time out in Ireland, didn't he? Can he just get there? Or has the Grey got more in his locker? Aye, says Harry Skelton. He's off and running. Greanatine's off the bridle. Acid test for the 6-year-old. Rouge Vif not done with. Coming up to the second last. He's got in close a little bit, Politolog. Buddy hopped it. Greanatine's got another chance. Paul Nichols 1-2 at the moment. Castle Grace Paddy doing his best. Rouge Vif getting sunk on the ground. We're coming up to the last. John Hales will be screaming this. Go on, get up and over.
Beautiful.
He's absolutely flown it. Oh my goodness gracious me. Harry Skelton unbalanced, but the stamina test. 2.5 miler, isn't he? The champion chaser. He's back. Altior, where are you? No problems for Politolog. Aye, favourite backers. 5 to 4. Never a moment's worry. Greanatine in second. Rouge Vif in third. Graeme, Rodway, what have we just seen?
We have seen a very, very good horse, haven't we? And let's give him his credit here, right? Because he has been the underrated horse throughout the whole time. Altior, where are you? As you said in commentary, Dave, that was superb from Politolog. It's a career-defining performance from him. He's finally gone in and he's absolutely blown them away.
Yeah, lovely to see that, wasn't it? Harry Skelton, it was a repeat of the All Mankind Tactics. Harry Skelton having the absolute time of his life. Another great celebration from him.
Yeah, I mean, this is a day of days for him, isn't it? You know, as in, like I say, a guy that's churning out big numbers at the moment, winners-wise with his brother, but they're still searching for that real Grade 1 quality, aren't we? And aren't they? And for Harry, I wouldn't imagine he's ever had 2 Grade 1s on the one day before on a big Saturday like this. And Politolog is a marquee horse for him. I mean, again, I think Graeme mentioned about Harry Cobden not choosing to ride Politolog. As far as I know, Politolog is Harry Skelton's ride this season.
Yes, he is.
So there'll never be any doubt that Harry Skelton will be in the plate. And for this grey horse, like you boys have said, has gone under the radar a bit. To win Champion Chase and then back it up now with the Tingle Creek success, he's going to rightly get the credit he deserves, because take Altior out the race and he is a real superstar in his own right.
He'll be a 10-year-old himself, won't he? Moscow Flyer territory we're getting into now. There is a result on the screen. Politolog! Aye, the great Grace. He's off 1-2 for Paul Nicholls. Grianity Nicholls, who comes to every fight, doesn't he, and gets his horses out. Absolutely buzzing. John Ailes on track today. He'll be absolutely loving life. Great to see those colours. Darren Hughes, let's come to you. Anti-Post Market, Champion Chase.
No immediate reaction as yet. Or just come in there as we speak. Dave Politolog is now 6-1, 20-1 for the Champion Chase. So obviously, look, traders suitably impressed at him.
What price was he? What price was he?
20s.
20s? The Champion Chase. It was 20s for the Champion Chase. What have I been doing these last couple of weeks? That was huge,
This
wasn't
is
it?
it, yeah. You need to keep your eyes peeled for these Cheltenham markets. There is some value to be had even at this time of year. That was very good. Look, he jumped really, really well. Stamina probably won the day. Grenadine probably just that shade below a Grade 1 horse that he wasn't really able to go with him when he really turned the taps on. Rouge Riff stayed on nicely enough to finish third again. I think he was third. There wasn't much in it. Castle Grace, Paddy and Bruno Storm just outclassed in the day. But yeah,
He's run particularly well for me, Rouge Riff. I'd be tempted to get him up in trip now, I think. Maybe. Although, do you think that Harry, and Gav Sheehan will be thinking, we've got a chance on good ground, haven't we?
Well, I mean, look, as in, I would imagine that, he's rated 160. Where do you go with him? I mean, there's going to be plenty of 2-mile options. I mean, Desert Orchid Chase at Christmas, if we got some better ground around Kempton, which
Often
can happen.
do.
And then
imagine that's where old Altior surely will be thinking, come on.
You'd think possibly. And then, of course, you've got the 2.5 mile Grade 1 at Aintree in the spring, haven't you? Which you'd think for Rouge Vif would be a real
spirit.
sort of job for him. Grenadine, again, I wouldn't give up on him, guys. I'd back on maybe some nicer ground on a flatter track. Possibly just like I think we mentioned, maybe Stamina just gave out on this day. But he's a young horse up against some older campaigners. I mean, yes. Politolog is at 9 rising 10. He's been there and done it all. And it's a high level to aim at. And I don't think Grenadine has lost that much in defeat today.
He soared over those railway fences. Wasn't that an absolute delight? And something you said yesterday that could, funnily enough, cause a tad of controversy as well. These grey horses, they don't often know how to jump, G.
Yeah, they're pretty good jumpers, aren't they, the Greys? and even John Ailes agreed with me.
Even John Ailes agreed with him yesterday morning. Well, yeah, he sort of did, absolutely. We needed a bit of convincing, but isn't it great to see these grey horses do it? Altior, we didn't need you. We want to see you back on the track, though. Where are you, man? Come on out. Why would I mean, the way that race went, Altior, horse that wants, strong finish. You gave a really passionate preview yesterday on the show I did with you. You were saying that you think that Altior will just about get home because he's got that strong finish. And Politolog will be just trying to make it that test. It's going to suit Altior down to the ground. If you're Nicky Henderson, your owner's watching this now, surely you're thinking, we'd have been bang there.
No, I guarantee you that Nicky Henderson will be sitting there in his armchair thinking, I'm glad we didn't race there. I'm glad that we pulled out. Because that Politolog, that would have been a hard race. If Altior had run, Politolog would have run him real close and might even have beaten him.
So what are we saying there?
But that's not right. He shouldn't be sitting back in his armchair saying, this is horse racing. We want to see the best take on the best.
That's an interesting opinion. So, G thinks that Nicky Henderson will be now perfectly vilified by what he's done, absolutely. But there's a justification.
Do you think that Altior would have beaten Politolog on that form today?
I don't think the way that Grianity gave him a fright from 2 out, Altior, it's not hard to see Altior winning that, for me, no.
Agreed.
No,
I completely agree. Altior is a freakishly talented horse. Because the problem with Altior is from a figures point of view.
Mounted up against you, G.
He never puts up spectacular performances often because he has that turn of foot late on. And he only ever just does enough.
Take nothing away from Blittle.
No, not at all. But what a showdown that would have been.
Yeah.
You know, and Graeme is right in that way. What we want to see is clashes. You know, marquee horses taking each other on, because that's what surely people that don't know much about racing or aren't that interested
are
going to be ignited by.
Why does it have to be at Cheltenham? What's wrong with this race? I mean, this in the 3 mile division. There's the King George and the Gold Cup. They are the 2 standout races. In the 2 mile division, the 2 standout races, the Tingle Creek and the Champion Chase. Why do we have to wait for Cheltenham all the time? The horse is well, according to Henderson. He said earlier in the week, Altior is fitter and straighter than I've had him in recent years, and he's not that. There's no way. There's no way you can be certain that Altior would have won.
Again, you can have the argument there's too many Grade 1s in the calendar across the board, but these are actually marquee events. I mean, the fact that we're not seeing horses take each other on in these sort of races, for me, is slightly concerning.
Well, and what's going to happen, I reckon, anyway, is you're going to see Altior turn up around Christmas time, probably, in that Desert Orchid Chase at Kempton. There won't be any Politolog there because Nichols has already said he's going to miss it and go for the Champion Chase straight up. Yeah. And Altior will go around there and win at 1 to 5, and it'll be a big turn-off for everyone.
OK, my goodness gracious me, the 2020 Tingle Creek. Oh, the debate started raging last night, but whatever you did, you had to enjoy the way that Politolog just absolutely laughed at those railway fences, filled his lungs up after a slightly sketchy lead, 2 out and pinged that last. Isn't it great to see the champion chaser back with a win in the Tingle Creek, beating Greanatine. We're just trying to see how many fences are being omitted from our next race at Aintree. We're expecting some low sun up there. If you remember the old Rowan Chasers I previously mentioned when Forrest Behan saw off Frodon last year. Frodon was not at all suited by that, was he? How many fences will be up? Because we've got a cracker coming up. It's the Many Clouds Chase. Let's get up to Darren Hughes then, the 240 at Aintree. Native River, last year's winner. He comes back for some more. Where's he in the market, Darren?
He's third favourite at the moment. Dave Santini for Nicky Henderson is a 2.76 chance. He's about a 7-4 shot. Rodon then after his very impressive win at Cheltenham last time out. What a jump performance that was. 3.15. And Native River then is a 3.8 shot. He's coming back now. What age is he? He's 10, rising 11. Then it's Late Lad and Keeper Hill, 30 apiece. The approach I'm going to take to this race, Dave, is, look, I think we all remember last year Santini rocked up to Sandown in that intermediate chase, I think it's called, against Mr. McGinty or something along those lines. Now McGinty, you beg your pardon. Sent off very short odds and really made hard work of it. Now, I do think he's going to be straighter today, but at the same time, he's not one I want to get involved in at a short price. I couldn't decide between Frodon and Native River, so what we're going to do is we're going to Dutch the pair of them. So we're going to back both of them. We're going to try and make a profit for ourselves that way. So, Graeme, if you can click the win box for both of those horses, and if you can have a 3.15 for Frodon.
3.15?
Yeah, and 3.75 for Native River, please.
Yeah.
And let's have 38 quid and 4 pence on Frodon.
On Frodon, yeah.
And £31 and 96 pence on Native River. We're laying out 70 quid here. We should make in and around 50 quid. It's one where I don't want to lay Santini at 8 to 15 or 4 to 7 because I don't think Lakeview Lad and Keeper Hill are anywhere near a good price at 20 and 30 a piece. I think this focuses around 3 horses. I know there could be a burn-off pace in the front, but I'm really keen to try and get this Santini beaten. I think Frodon and Native River are the only 2 that can do it. Let's Dutch them and see how we get on.
Thank you very much, Darren Hughes. Dutching then. There you go. All right. Just as soon as we way to play it, I like Santini. Unbeaten first time out. Yes, Sandown is in the back of your minds. But we were chatting yesterday, G, weren't we? You said moral winner of the Gold Cup last season. You could argue he's the moral winner of the RSA as well. This is, on his day, a serious animal. If you go back to his chasing debut at Newbury 2 seasons back, you'd be very happy to take 13 to 8 here. I think we're going to see the real Santini today. Yeah,
and do you think this race might just pan out well for him? Because obviously you're going to have Frodon, he's going to go from the front, and I think nowadays Native River's really only got one way of running, hasn't he? And that's being real prominent and trying to outstay them and outgrind them.
He's not a slow horse, Native River, is he? Despite the fact he's Welsh national. When he was in the Welsh national as well, coming up on the 27th of December.
Do you think Santini will just sit behind them? Jerry McGrath will just sit behind them? And
Jerry's won on his his only ever ride on Santini.
He's a very strong stayer, isn't he, Santini?
Yeah.
So
who wins?
Santini for me, yeah.
Charlie Poste, you're sitting there. I can tell that something's irking you here.
No, not at all. I mean, Santini, I question this brilliant record fresh because I don't know how anyone can say that Sandown, when he scraped home from Now McGinty, was brilliant fresh, you know. So
it's not brilliant fresh, but he's won fresh. He keeps winning.
He does, no doubt about it. I completely get that. But I mean, I think this is a fascinating race, actually. I think Santini, Frode and Native River are all worthy contenders. And
winner?
I lukewarm Native River.
Lukewarm.
How are we looking at the trade there, Graeme? Have we got matched?
Yeah, we're both matched. So we're winning £55 if Frodon wins and £49 if Native River wins, and £70 if anything else wins.
There's nothing wrong with that at all, is there? No. When you look at that, you're thinking to yourself, actually, that's quite a nice sit.
Any news on the Sun?
We were trying to get how many fences were out. It's difficult to know. I think the BHA are quite slow to tell us, actually.
Here we go.
Here we go. We're just seeing the guys come out.
So who does this suit? If
it looks like they're carrying solar panels, doesn't it? It's like looks like they're trying to attract the sun.
Who does it suit? I mean, I think sometimes Santini can be a bit slovenly to jump.
Yeah, agreed.
That's interesting.
So I think it will assist him.
Well, you remember when he scraped home at Sandown last year, everyone was like, it was a bit shock horror-y, wasn't it? Everyone thought it would be like when they won it with Mike Bite and we were going to see a proper Gold Cup.
I mean, I thought at times he looks like a horse that might benefit from some blinkers.
Yes.
I mean, then he went and ran a mighty race in the Gold Cup, probably should have won.
Pieces,
you know, as in all honesty, he got tight for racing room.
Yeah.
A couple of times coming down the hill and didn't get out in time.
It's funny because the market obviously agrees with you, Charlie, because he's gone from like 2.98 to 2.74 since they took the fences out. So
it looked like he was going to go off an 11 to 8 shot, wouldn't it? But look, he's up against, Native River's a serious animal, isn't he? When he had that run, that was unbelievable scenes, wasn't it? Frodon, public horse, very much so. I spoke to John Howes about him yesterday. He said, look, if the ground is okay, he could get into a rhythm and it'll be fine. The way they're lining up at the minute is quite interesting. Because
I mean, look, Jerry McGrath is on a horse that stays well anyway. He's not just going to, for no reason, give ground away. He's going to pop out. The three of them will pop out upsides. One of them, I would imagine, will end up making the run, and then the other two are going to find their comfortable gear.
He's a course winner over hurdles. I think it'll be perfect for him, this track. You're not so sure about Graeme, what those get?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about it. Really, it's going to depend on who gets over those first three fences, probably the quickest, isn't it, as to who gets the lead.
This is a great game, isn't it? Tingle Creek to the Many Clouds Chase. We're loving life here on Racing Post Live. Hope you are as well. We're off 3 miles and a furlong.
Long run to the first, guys. Long run to the first now. So,
so the first 2 fences are being omitted. Oh, this is like Frodon Take 2. His last trip to Aintree, of course, in the winter time, it was the old Rowan, and he got outspeeded by a couple of horses, didn't he? Forest Bean and Kalashnikov. But he is taking it up front. Native River, unsurprisingly, keep him warm up front. Keep a hill out the back. Interesting one for me here, guys. Can't see him winning today, but Lakeview Lad, I've always had him down as a national type of horse. And for Trevor Hemmings. Hemmings has kept hold of this grey horse. He's a grey horse G, so he'll be the best jumper in the race. And we saw what happened to Cloth Cap as well. Trevor Hemmings tends to keep hold of serious national horses. I just think, watch out for him today. There's a nice big payday in Lakeview Lad. Santini upsides as well. Charlie Poste, front 2 going clear a little.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a non-event thus far, Dave, hasn't it? I think we got the 3 in the straight, haven't we? So we're running around the home turn away from the stands now. Froda marginally ahead of Native River. Santini, Lakeview Rad tracking them through, and Keeper Hill whipping in. I mean, we're about to turn into the back straight and be presented with their first jumping test. So I think we're going to know a bit more once we get down the back straight. We've actually seen some jumping, which is the name of the game. 19
fences due to be jumped if we think that 2 times round. So 13 fences, at least we've got more than that juvenile fillies. And up and over the first, unbelievable. That didn't take too long.
3 times round, Dave, please.
3 times round? Okay, my goodness gracious me. I know my tracks. Thank God Charlie's here. You do the math then. Okay, so look, it is what it is, guys. At the moment, Keeper Hill, he had a long time to think about it first. He did, didn't he, Graeme?
He did, yeah. And it's he's jumping well, isn't he, Frodon, as normal. Santini, as Charlie says, been a little bit sluggish maybe over the
3
first
times round. That's still perplexing me a little bit.
Once, when they start, second time round with a circuit to go, and then third finishing. I mean,
there we go. There's the J. He's not lost it, is he, old Poste? Absolutely not.
Never rode a circuit or finished a circuit too soon. You see, I was always all right at counting. Maybe not so much at the riding, but I could always count. Yeah.
Jockey's worst nightmare, of course, when they wake up delighted that they're drenched on the pillows.
Interesting from a tactical point of view here. Frodon jumped off on the outside of Native River, got round him and got to the inner, and now Native River's gone back round Frodon and back to the inner.
What do we think about Frodon when he gets taken on for the lead? I don't like it. It happened at Cheltenham, didn't it, in the right and air? And we know he comes up short a little bit then.
I think he's all right, Dave.
I'm not sure
Look
about
at all those big handicaps that he won. He was taken on for the lead in those, that's for sure.
I think he's a slightly different horse now, Graeme. We shall see at the business end. What's the market saying about that, Darren Hughes?
Yeah, they're agreeing. They're not a fan of Frodon. He's now 9 from 3.93. The one I'd want to be with here, lads, is Native River. I think he is the biggest engine out of all of these. Not to say he's a bad jumper. He's a very good jumper, but the lack of fence isn't going to inhibit him at all. Whereas Frodon's main asset is his jumping. The more fences they jump, the better for him. He can make a length, whereas his engine might not just be as big. Native River is now the 2.24, 5-4 favourite from a BSP at 3.41. Santini holding this price at 2.72. Frodon, as I said, the big drifter, now 10 from a 3.93 BSP. Lakeview Lad, a few quid for him. He's half in price, 12.5 for 23. And Keeper Hill is pretty much holding his price. He's 28 as from a BSP at 34.
Keeper Hill, the outside of the lot on ratings, quite rightly so. But he's an interesting horse for us here because he's finished 4th in the Charlie Hall and in the Betfair Chase as well. So we'll get some sort of line. We're expecting Gold Cup ripples, anti-post markets as well. OK then, second time around, Charlie Poste.
Yeah.
Who would you want to be on?
I'm quite happy with Native River at the moment. He's sort of got to the front. He's got that lazy style of racing. You can see he always has his ears slightly back with these blinkers on, and he's filling himself up the whole time. I'd imagine Dickie Johnson's very happy. Santini, I wouldn't be against either. I agree with everyone. I think Frodon is the one that possibly has been most hindered by the race has been run up to now.
Brian, he doesn't seem bothered though.
Everyone bar Graeme. You like this horse still?
Yeah, she doesn't seem bothered. She's just sitting there nice and quietly. Now, if you're on a horse that can only way can win is to lead, would you not be up there trying to get back past Native River, Charlie, or would you just let him do his thing like this?
I think right now possibly, maybe it's a concern then. Maybe she feels she can't go quick enough to get to the lead.
Oh, we're
and
jumping
she's going to have to sit and wait.
Novelty.
Yeah, Keeper Hill once again met it deep, didn't jump it over well, first one down the back. Dickie Johnson just applying a little bit of pressure now as we get into the back straight. He's really going to try and use his jumping down the back here.
Has he? OK, Darren, OK, we're at about, 4 out?
Yeah, he's a 1.9, 1.89 chance. He's 4 to 5 now. Santini, the drifter, he looks to be under the pump slightly. 3.394 for 2.7. Frodon again, big drifter now 9.4 to 11, 12 from 3.93 BSP. Lakeview Lad, the interesting one, he's 9.4 from 23. Looks to be travelling quite well. Great jump there from Native River. He's just done 2s on and the run.
He's totally out-jumped him there.
It's very hard to see him beaten from here, isn't it?
Yeah, well, 10-year-olds don't win this race according to the stats, but Native River does not know that. He feels as long as another great jump. Santini just hitting that little flat spot that we know about him. Jerry Maguire just giving him a little reminder there, though. So, at the moment, will he last home? If you're on Native River, you're getting excited at the moment. Charlie Poste, is he going to win?
He's the one they've all got to beat, but like his main asset down the back has been his jumping. He's out-jumped every one of his rivals. He is now coming to the last fence with a fully half a mile still to run. So I think the fact that his 3 rivals, Lakeview Lad, Frodon and Santini, are all still within hailing distance, it's still not completely over yet, Dave.
Yeah, OK, so Native River, the only one still on the bridle turning for home.
He's looking very slow, isn't he, Santini? I mean, he looks very slow.
Is that a surprise to you, though?
Not really.
He's kind of flagged that up for a long time.
Lakeview Lad, I'll tell you what, guys, I said it's a big race in him. Could it well be this? Because now Native River is really starting to feel the pinch. Actually, 4 horses in with a great chance. I'll tell you what, if you're Brian Hughes, he does make them look good, doesn't he, on the bridle, but he's yet to come off it. Santini trying his hardest, filling his lungs. Will he actually come out on top, Santini? This is interesting. Native River is now cooked. Unbelievable. Lakeview Lad for Santini to beat. Will he get there? Lakeview Lad is to be a right shot, lads. Santini, though, he's got that class. Frodon backs out of it. Native River trying to have another say. He's not totally done with. What a great finish. No fences, but drama aplenty. Santini hanging all over the place. Jerry Maguire's trying to get him into it as they come into the home straight. Call it, lads. This is unbelievable.
Native River still. Native River, Dave.
Native River's not out of it. My voice is going. This is unbelievable. Lakeview Lad, he wants it the most. He's going to see off Santini, who comes with another last lunge. Not good enough. Lakeview Lad, unbelievable. Nick Alexander having his day in the sun.
It's another one for the Greys.
It's another one.
Another great Greys.
He didn't have to jump the best, did he? Wowee. A boil over, as you might say, in the many clouds chase. Santini, my lord. Ooh. Nicky Henderson, not your weekend so far, is it?
My feeling about Blinkers has only been enhanced, if I'm honest, as in he makes very, very hard work of things. He lacks a bit of tactical speed. He lacks a bit of sharpness at his fences. There's no doubt there's a huge engine in there. And is he a potential gold winner? Yes, Gold Cup winner. Yes, he is. But does he need to do things slightly better to really go that extra step? For me, he does. I mean, like you said, he was going left and right. He was rolling round all over the shop, And then every time you thought he was actually going to go and pick Lakeview Lad up again, he let Lakeview Lad back in. And then for a brief moment, you were thinking Native River was going to come and do the pair of them. It was my feeling of this on the day was almost Lakeview Lad wanted to win it most, and that's what won the day.
I think you're absolutely right there. Native River wearing blinkers, of course, but he's run a blind. Do you think it'll be Welsh National next for him, G?
Yeah, it looks like that, doesn't it? He's done it well. It's from a form perspective as well. You sit there and go, well, really, the two horses that should have been there were there. Santini beats Native River, two solid contenders, and he's gone and won it. But then, of course, you then say, well, how fit was Santini? How fit was Native River? But it was a horrible performance from Santini.
I think if you're in the,
he's a horrible individual, isn't he? Really?
Well, Darren Hughes, tell us about that.
Yeah, he hit a low 1.15 in the run. If you're on him, I think you're very disappointed he doesn't go by there. That's really not good enough for a horse that's supposedly a Gold Cup standard. Look, he finished second in a Gold Cup last year. You can't grab that, so he probably will improve from it. But, geez, I didn't like that at all now. I really didn't. He looked slow. The lack of fences probably helped him. If there was more fences to jump there, I think he's done for toe even worse. Native River's run well. He was hit at a low of about 1.33 in the run. You talk about the Welsh National. I'd be more inclined to bring him back here in the springtime. On nice ground at Aintree, I couldn't see any reason he wouldn't run very, very well in an Aintree Grand National. I think he has stamina to boot. He looked like he was coming back there at one point, but no, look, a worthy winner. He's done it well. Didn't see that happening beforehand, to be fully honest. I thought he was a shocking price at 23, but there you go, that's racing.
Well, he usually goes to the Roland Merrick at Wetherby on Boxing Day. I think he won it a couple of seasons back. He was placed in the race.
Well, what about him as a Gold Cup horse?
Who?
Lakeview Lad.
Okay.
Is that ridiculous?
I mean,
yes.
It's your association with Grays. I know the Barnet's gone that way, and you're even sporting the top today. In fact, when I look at the big bear that is Graeme Rodway, everything about him is great.
He knew it was going to be a grey day today.
It was a great start to the day, wasn't it?
He's been flooded in at home. He's had to get here on a canoe, and now he's sporting this grey.
If he had this beard still as well, like Politolog was in the studio with us, wasn't it?
I could have dyed the beard grey, although I wouldn't have needed to.
Unbelievable. Well, look, it's going your way. I don't imagine you had any money on him, though, at all, did you? I think they were hoping that this is a national horse. So what does the handicapper do with Lakeview Lad now? He's got to whack him up, hasn't he? He's getting £6 as well. We should say that from Santini and Native River. But Santini, oh my goodness me, jury is out. Darren Hughes called him a horrible individual. Graeme Rodway, Native River, perhaps Darren might be right there. They've always wanted to get him in a national, and the owners were a little bit reticent about doing that. But he's going to be 11, isn't he, next spring? Surely the target.
Yeah, I think he'll jump around there well, won't he? And he shouldn't have any problem holding a position in that race, given his class. He's obviously a Gold Cup winner. I still think he probably wants really testing ground to be at his very best.
And that's your issue with the national, isn't it? Is whether he'll have that. He's a very classy horse, but whether he's going to have the tactical speed for the early race cavalry charge on good ground, I don't know. I would have doubts about that myself personally.
Or then perhaps they'll try and get him top 4 finish in a Gold Cup again. Or
I would imagine so. I don't see why you wouldn't be going back there.
It's a big day out as well, isn't it? Let's face it, he's still got the class to do it. What a race that was! Absolutely superb finish. Nearly lost it in the studio. Let us know you're still out there. Here on RP Live, we're having a great afternoon. We've got about 3 races left for you as well, I believe. We've got the Grand Sefton still to come. The shorter Beecher, if you like, 2 mile 5, I think, Charlie, isn't it? Where they go, have a gallop over that. Do you ever ride a Grand Sefton?
Didn't ride in the Grand Sefton. I rode in Beecher and a Topham, so yeah, as in I had a go.
Well, it's like a top. It's like a
Topham on soft ground.
It's like the rehearsal for the Topham, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whatever wins the Grand Sefton, you're hoping it's Springtown Lake. You've put that up in the Sizzlers in the paper. It's usually favourite for the Topham, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I suppose it can often be a different sort of race because of the ground conditions, but I mean, it's certainly a good tee up for it, isn't it?
A speedy race over the national fences. What can possibly go wrong? We're looking forward to some, talking about nationals, of course, we've got a London version coming up. Paul Keeley was in the studio during Cheltenham Sunday, Open Sunday. He said, all these other nationals are naff. And Bruce Millington said, so they're NAFNALs, are they? So it's the London NAFNAL, if you like. That caused a right stir out there. What do you think about these mini nationals, if you like?
I think they're great. As in it offers an opportunity for slightly lesser horses to go at something.
Do you remember the race last year?
Yes, I do. I mean, I actually came out in defence of the jockeys about it. I thought,
Void
from Sandown's
race
point of
year,
view, it was a farcical episode. I mean, the whole void race thing has needed a massive updating anyway, and I think it has been addressed.
Who was it that won it?
Doing Fine.
It was Doing Fine.
Holland, yeah.
Of course.
Who runs today.
How ironically named, who of course is indeed in the race. Of course, finished behind Cloudy Glen last time in the Sussex National. Let's get the market up on the screen then and see whether Cloudy Glen is going to go off favourite. Could this be a big race double? Darren Hughes for Trevor Hemmings, the owner.
Well, for those wondering why I was able to recall that so quickly, I was the one that happened to back Doing Fine in the Exchange last year, so of course didn't get paid with the void race, but such is life. Classic Ben here is our 3.35 favourite. Cloudy Glen then for Robbie Dunn of Venetia Williams in flying form. She's 4.0. My strongest fancy of the day runs here in the shape of Cross Park for Harry Skelton and Caroline Bailey. He's 7.6 at the moment, which I think is a crazy price. Shanro Santos then for Harry Coblin and Doing Fine for Millie Wonacott are joined at 9.4. 13 then for Regal Flow and 24 for Pobbles Bay. I should just say we're offering an extra place in this. It's the Betfair Back and Lay London National, so it's an extra place on the sports book. Smashing race with these type of horses, as Charlie alluded there. They don't always get many opportunities over these extreme distances. So these mini nationals are a great opportunity for them, as Charlie had just said there, to show their very best in their optimum conditions against opponents at their own level. So as I said, Cross Park here for me. I think he's a smashing bet at 7.0. He ran very well at Sandown last time behind Step Back in a Veterans Chase. The time of that race compared very favourably to the race that Pim won on the same card over course of distance. They were about 6 seconds faster. This lad has won in either chase up at Newcastle so that kind of spells him out as a stamina-laden horse. He's finished second in the Scottish National. Will not be an issue for him, and he's had 2 runs this season, which should just leave him absolutely spot on for this. Again, we come back to the beauty of the Exchange here. This is 2 places in pretty much every sports book, definitely Betfair Exchange, or the Betfair sports book, I should say. We can also get 3 places on the Exchange. So, Graeme, if you can boot there into the win market first of all, and we're going to have 30 quid on Cross Park in the win market at 7.4, please.
Yep, 30 on Cross Park, 7.4.
Please.
That is on.
Yeah, and we'll then go to the 3-place market. I think him at 5-4 as being the first 3 is an absolute steal. We'll have a score on that, should bring us back with 45 quid, the vast majority of our stake. I honestly think that if you were on a place only punter, 2.24 Cross Park front 3 to be finishing the front 3 here is an absolutely smashing price. Look, I like Doing Fine. I'm just wondering, he left his race behind him. He obviously won the void race last year. He's £6 higher this year, and I just wonder, is he getting on a little bit to win a race like this? He's now 12. Chandro Santos could improve in his first from his comeback run this year. He's 11. I just think Cross Park has an awful lot going for him. Harry Skelton has obviously had the day of all days, so let's hope he can continue that here.
The day of all days, quite right. Darren Hughes for Harry Skelton. Thank you very much. You've got time to react to what Darren does. Rather confident, isn't he, on Cross Park? Let's get some social media comments back up on the screen. What have we got? Stephen Hughes. Good to have you back, Stephen. Lucky 15 man, he's become known as. Cloudy Glen, the next, doubled up with Mr. Coffee. Cloudy Glen. Who won the Sussex National, absolutely hosed up, didn't he? Handicapper put him right up. He had stamina to prove. He's looked a bit iffy at times, and he refused to race, and his jumping looks a bit iffy. But he was a revelation up tin trip for Venetia Williams. Graeme, Rodway, any chance?
Yeah, obvious chance. He is like the improving stayer in the race, isn't he? And the only thing for me is he has been whacked up, as you say, Dave. It's a big old rise. I did do the sums, but Doing Fine was third in that race, I think, and. There's a huge pull in the weights. I know that Cloudy Glen absolutely slammed him, but there's a huge pull in the weights. And if you include like Millie Wonacott's £7 claim as well, which sometimes I do, depending on how good I think the £7 claimer is, and I think that Millie's pretty good. So if you add that on...
Charlie both smirking away there.
If you add that on...
What claim would you have now if you got back in the saddle?
What claim would I have? Yeah. 22 or something like that, yeah.
I reckon Doing Fine can beat him, you know.
You think Doing Fine can beat him again?
I don't think Doing Fine can reverse those places.
That's Sandown. Okay, and Mr. Coffee, Stephen in the last is, I mean, Henderson's having a terrible weekend, isn't he? Team Hendo, but 7 barrows, but they think this is a proper horse. Okay, let's get one more up on the screen. Here we go. Andy Sim. Hey, Andy. And Doing Fine each way for me. Graeme Rodway has just given a nice case for that. So, horses for courses, we're thinking here. My thing about Cloudy Glen is, absolutely that. Fontwell is it's obviously a unique track, isn't it? The only figure of 8 over the jumps that we have. And it's not really flat. It's not really left. It's not really right. It's really stiff. If you've never been at Fontwell before, stand on the winning line, look down. It's extremely testing.
I once wrote in a piece in Racing Post, "Our stiff uphill finish at Fontwell," and someone emailed in and said, "Oh, what are you talking about? Complete nonsense! Not a stiff
you get that
uphill
a
finish."
bit, don't you? In fairness,
and not always warranted.
No, totally unwarranted. I get more.
Yeah.
I get more, absolutely. But Fontwell, how do you think Fontwell to Sandown?
I don't. If I was keen, if you're keen
Tough
on
question,
Cloudy
though.
Glen, that wouldn't put me off, if you know what I mean. As in, Fontwell is an undulating track, figure of 8, as you described. Sandown has its own quirks and undulations as well. As like I say, we run downhill into the back straight and steeply uphill, finishing off. So I think the fact that he can handle Fontwell is actually a positive moving over to Sandown. For me, I think he's a young horse that potentially is on the upgrade. Marathon distance last time seemed to bring out huge improvement. £11 rise is steep, but if he is the horse that's on the way up, it might not even do him justice. The £11 rise might not be enough to stop him.
I seem to remember, did Classic Ben run in this race last year? I think I might have backed him, and did he fall?
He did fall. He's a winner off this mark there before. Classic Ben, the 7-year-old. I can't believe he's only 7. He's my pick in the race, actually, Classic Ben, for Stuart Edmonds and Kieran Gethins. I just think he's on a nice mark. Love the ground, loves the track. He's the one for me. I'm quite confident in him, actually. So the Battle of the Seas. In fact, Crossbark, second last time out, wasn't he, to step back? Proper horse around Sandown. That will be a lot. That could be a pointer to Semetigao coming up in the next race with Paul Nicholls if he runs well in the Grand Sefton, who I've put up in that, by the way. So they're ambling around down at the start. Final thoughts here, Darren Hughes of the market.
Yeah, pretty static. Cloudy Glen 3.7, Classic Ben 3.25. He was 3.35. Cross Park holding his price, briefly punted in. He was matched the low at 6.6 there. He's now 7.4. Shanro Santos 10.5, Doing Fine 9.4, Regal Flow 13.5, and Popple's Bay 34. They just jumped off there in the Betfair Battle in on the national. Price is pretty static before the off. Let's see how they go.
Thank you, Darren Hughes. Extensive as ever. And Cloudy Glen just perhaps with that stamina in the mind, he's going to observe for last. Classic Ben up and over the first, all up okay. Regal Flow, Regal Flow, he's up there doing fine on the inside. He's having a save for the lead. Shanro Santos, another Dow save, probably about 10 miles to shine. I think he might going to take it up at the second. Popple's Bay, also I fancied a Haydock when he ran on Betfair Chase Day. He didn't get any further than I think the 5th or something like that. If he bounces back, that will bite me. And Cloudy Glen, a little bit keen, Charlie Post out the back, or
not in the slightest.
Unbelievable things. I mean, I do comments in running for the Racing Post, and
I know, and this is what causes a lot of the issues.
I know, he said. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I mean, Cloudy Glen is dropped in. Robbie Dunn's got him lovely and switched off. I mean, I'd say a pretty ordinary gallop on here. As in I think all the jockeys are aware of. A strong stamina conditions and a marathon trip to encounter. So there's no fireworks early, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've definitely dropped the anchor, Graeme Rodway.
Yeah, so I mean, would you be worried if you were on Cloudy Glen because they're going fairly slow?
I wouldn't be worried over this sort of trip. I mean, you could argue that Cross Park has actually grabbed hold of the bit down the inside. Harry Skelton just having to tug back on the reins.
Definitely, yeah, he has a small bit keen. Yeah, the market hasn't reacted too badly. He's holding his price there at 7.4, 7.6. But definitely, if you were to pick one out to be keen, it would definitely be him. Classic Ben 3.75. Cloudy Glen has gone favourite now the early skirmishes. He's 3.4, just a touch under 5-2. Shanro Santos Doing Fine, kind of holding their price on BSP. No major moves. Cloudy Glen and Classic Ben have swapped places at the head of the market.
Thank you, Darren Hughes. Okay, yeah, Classic Ben not happy with this gallop at all. He is a strong stayer, and Kieran Gethins says, okay, after me, gentlemen, Regal Flow. Great Regal Flow. He's had some great days in the sun for Bob Butler. He's up at fine. Doing fine, not great there actually, wasn't fine at all. They're coming up to the railway fences. Shanro Santos is there. Popple's Bay, unseated last time. He seems to be jumping all right at this point. Crossbark on the inside, getting that bit of pace that he likes to angle at now. And Cloudy Glen, He's around about 4 lengths off. Okay, Graeme, Rodway, who would you like to be on at this point?
Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it? They're all going well. They all seem to be jumping fairly well. They're not obviously the slickest of jumpers, given that they're stayers. They tend to take a little bit more time in the air than those that you saw earlier on in the Tingle Creek. But yeah, no great mistakes, is there? But you would expect that sort of thing from, you know, such experienced, seasoned campaigners. And not a lot going on, is there? We've just got to wait for another circuit and it's starting to hot up.
What you tend to find is it's pace that forces mistakes, you know, as in these are all pretty experienced horses. They go in a very sort of ordinary gallop, and it's almost like a schooling session like you would do at home, as in they shouldn't be making marked mistakes. Cloudy Glen, if you're concerned, just jumping slightly to his left out over the railway fences right now.
If you're Robbie Dunn, at this point, you've got 4 lengths behind the pack, slightly going out to you. Are you alive to the fact they might all of a sudden put their foot on the injector, and would you then be in a bit of trouble?
I think he would be alive to it. I doubt he is concerned right now with over a circuit to go and the Sandown hill to climb before they go out on their last circuit. But it is something that he's probably going to be thinking about. I would imagine once we get out onto the second circuit, he's going to try and get in amongst them. Certainly have something on his left-hand side to try and negate that jumping out to his left.
Do you think sometimes that can be difficult though? Like you get a horse at the back like that, like Cloudy Glen, you wouldn't be that worried at the moment because they're not going at a great pace and you'd be comfortable. But then suddenly, if they do inject the pace and go,
just see he's just pulled his stick through to his left hand. So he's pulled his whip through from his right hand to his left. He's going to try and then encourage the horse by giving him a little smack down the left-hand shoulder to stay straight when he's jumping.
We're getting some steering insight. Absolutely brilliant from Charlie Poste there. Cross Park going all right. He's just taking a little bit more interest now. Darren Hughes, your nap of the day.
Yeah, the Cloudy Glen looks a small bit out of his ground at the moment. The market has certainly reacted as such. Classic Ben is now a 3.65 favourite. Cloudy Glen has drifted out to 5.5, 5.6. Cross Park to 1 for money. He's 5 from 7.6. So the market not just thrilled with how Cloudy Glen is going at the moment. He's just getting a little bit out of his ground, jumping out to his left ever so slightly, doing fine, travelling well there up in the van. As we've said numerous times today, you're much better off being on the front end in these races. Doing fine now, 6.2 from 909 BFP. Crosspark just gone 7-2 in the run. Cloudy Glen 6.4. Market really not happy with him at the moment.
Do you think that they're just looking here? Looks like maybe they've moved the rail sort of. Is there a bit better ground right near the rail?
You'd have to be. I think you have to be very tight to the rail. I'd be slightly more concerned if I was Robbie Dunn now. You know, as in Cloudy Glen just doesn't seem to be going with loads of enthusiasm.
When he won at Sussex, they came back to him. Do you remember when he came onto the ride and you're like, is this horse going to get home? He absolutely needs him to come back. Maybe he is a horse that you just can't ask too early. You think of Phoenicia Williams, you think of staying handicaps, you think of Robbie Dunn, they're usually up on the front end. Not today, racing fans will know that. As we embark onto the famous railway fences for the last time here this afternoon on RP Live. Bubbles Bay just throwing out some distress signals there for Connor Ring, of course. Connor Ring's having another good season, but up front it is doing fine. The moral winner of the race last year before it was voided. He's now saying, come on then boys, off we go. And Millie Wanacott having the spin of her life. Charlie Poste.
Doing fine, jumping fantastic. I mean, Regal Flow, Midlands national hero in years gone by, also upsides him. Classic Ben has moved well throughout. I mean, he's had a very economical trip round. Actually just gets in deep to the ditches. I jinx him there. Cross Park has travelled a little bit strong for me in staying chases, but I mean, he's got a perfect sit for man at the moment, Harry Skelton. Cloudy Glen has passed Pobbles Bay now, and you're hoping that he's going to warm to the task. The only one that you could really be saying looks like they're struggling is Pobbles Bay. Connor Ring starting to push away, and it looks like it's going to be a long way home for him as we move down to the railway fences now for the last time.
Okay, and doing fine, just about in front, but Regal Flow not gone for him at all, Sean Houlihan, yet. They're all over that one. Okay, Classic Ben perhaps a little bit low, just shaking the reins now. Him is Kieran Gethins. I'll tell you what, Darren Hughes, you must be getting a bit excited.
Yeah, happy enough now at the moment, Dave. He didn't jump that one there just great, but he's Crosspark is now at 3.55. He's actually the fav in the run, but he's second fav behind Doing Fine, who's about 11-10 shot. Crosspark then, as I said, is about 3-1. Cloudy Glen, money back for him again. He's just gone 3.7. Looks a lot more interest now than he had. Classic Ben is the one that's pretty much gone. He's 27 from 5-2 pre-race. Shandro Santos the same. Interesting finish ahead of us here, Dave. Long way up the Sandown hill.
Absolutely, and Cloudy Glen is just starting to do what Cloudy Glen seems to do, and he's siding through the pack. Charlie Poste can't pull this off, can he?
Well, I mean, look, it's been a very good waiting ride from Robbie Dunn. Cloudy Glen has done plenty of things wrong. He's made the odd mistake at the fences. He's jumped left at times. But this shows the benefit of a rider that's good in these sort of staying chases. He's managed to conserve energy.
Yeah.
He's now bringing him onto the heels of Cross Park and doing fine. I mean, but he is coming under pressure. And right now, Darren's pick, Cross Park, is the one they all seem to have to beat for Harry Skelton looking for a treble.
Got it, over you go, 2 out. Cross Park takes it up in front of Doing Fine. Cloudy Glen not great, but he's not done with. The others, forget about them. At the moment, it's Doing Fine. Can he gain compensation for the void race last year? He's got about a length down on Cross Park, who was second here last time. They're going up and over it. Oh, Doing Fine in front. Will it be another second for Cross Park? The two of them have it together. Harry Skelton, he's had a great day. I don't think he can do this, can he? Oh my goodness, Doing Fine looks he's going to do you hard luck. Darren Hughes, Graeme Rodway, the Bears' arms are up in the air. It's not a grey, but it's a hell of a day for Graeme Rodway. Doing Fine, good shout, Graeme, beats off Cross Park. The two of them, in a slowly run race, went clear from the omitted pond fence. Cloudy Glen, I think we've now just seen about how good he is on a marker 145. Classic Ben, disappointing. Regal Flow, 14 next year for him. Maybe he's just about having enough. Exciting race, guys, because of that finish. Doing Fine. Compensation. If you had have told Noel Mulholland and the connections, don't worry, in 12 months' time, you're going to have your day in the sun with this chap, they'd have gone for you, wouldn't they?
Poetic justice, Dave, from last year. Yes, I mean, old Darren, you should have stuck with him. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
He's comprehensively reversed that form. You said he would with Cloudy Glen as well.
Yeah.
So you think it was the track, maybe?
Yeah, I think the track. I think this would have been the target, without a doubt, from Neil Marland. Obviously, having been must have been so frustrating not to pick up the race last year. And as I said already, Millie Wallicott's £7 claim. She's excellent value for the £7, and that has made a big difference. So, he's only won by less than a length.
Yeah, let's have a word about her, because if you're coming to the last, I mean, you've got to show some real strength in the saddle there.
Yeah, I mean, look, she's a very talented young rider. I mean, like all these young riders, they need opportunity. Neil Mulholland's been supporting her. She went down the inside the whole way. I mean, this is probably a wonderful horse for someone like her to be riding, as in a relatively inexperienced jockey, riding an old campaigner like Doing Fine, that jumps well, does everything right. And as Graeme quite rightly alluded to, £7 on soft ground in these marathon distances, it can be huge. And it probably made the difference from the back of the last, didn't it? I mean, Cross Park, you know exactly what you're going to get from him. He's won an Ida chase. He's been second in stacks of marathon chases and a Scottish National as well, I think. And,
do you think he would have wanted them to go down a little bit harder?
I feel that he always travelled a little bit strong through the races, and he was always travelling almost a little too well, probably a bit more well than Harry Skelton would like. A lot of the time with these staying chases, as a rider, you want them to race behind the bridle, which means like that they're almost travelling a little bit lazy, because by doing that, they're conserving energy all the time, not racing with bags of enthusiasm early in the race. And you almost want them to warm up as the race progresses, so they're doing their strongest work at the line. And for me, Cross Park, through the first mile, Harry would have just liked him to switch off a bit more, as in to go to sleep in his hands and just race a bit more sensibly.
Yeah, because that finish after the last, it's a gruelling one at Sandown. One more to come from Sandown here on RP Live. Back on the hurdles course for us, there is a hot pot Mr. Coffee. What price will he go off? But that was the London National Doing Fine. Sees off Cross Park, and the 13-year-old Regal Flow running an absolute blinder there. So from the London National, back up to the national venue for the national fences. It is the Grand Sefton, 3:15. We're only a couple of minutes away, lads. We need to get on with business here, that's for sure. It's an absolute barnstormer. Phoenicia Williams came up short in that race, Darren, but the market suggests she might be taking out the last race here for us at Aintree.
Yeah, let's play through this very quickly. The Dara Vallis, Charlie Deutsch, and Phoenicia Williams is the 7.0 favourite. He's about 6-1. Springtown Lake then for Tom O'Brien and Philip Hobbs, 8.0. Modus for Paul Nichols, 10.0. Senior Citizen, 11.5. My selection of the race, the Medigal also for Paul Nichols at 13.0. The old might bite there at 13.5. Semi-interesting, but maybe the ground might be against him there today, and it's 19.0 and barred the rest after that. Yeah, look, I came down to Medigal here. This is very, very tough. The only thing I have here is I think this might turn into something of a burn-up. There's a lot of horses that like to go forward here. I know we've said all day we like to see front runners, but not when there's a burn-up in the pace. And I think there's quite a few of them here who like to go forward. Smedigal is just well able to sit just off them. He has finished third in this race in 2017. He was also ran that good race at Sandown that Step Back won. The Cross Park was second in. The form has been semi-frank just there. I think he might be a fair enough price here around the 13.0 mark. We'll follow the same formula that we did the last time there, Graeme, if that's okay. We'll have 30 quid in the win market and 20 quid in the 6th place market. So you have six chances to hit the frame here. And he is currently just bigger than even money in the 6th place market. So we're happy with that. But let's start off with the win market, please, Graeme.
Okay.
I'm glad to hear you say that, Darren, because I've put him up as well.
Videro Vallis, yeah.
No, Symmetrical, sorry.
I don't do the wrong one.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Although we have seen that here on the show before, and you know what happens. Sodslaw is the biggest thing in racing.
Bryony Frost, right? Yeah, sorry, we've got so many here. I'm getting confused. So we're doing 30 to win, is it?
30 to win. That's right, Graeme. Yeah.
Right, 30 to win on Symmetrical at 10, and that is done. And then we were 6 places, weren't we?
6 places, yes. And a few quid from now in the 6th place market. He's about a 10 to 11 shot, but we'll still have a score on that just to get most of our win part to bet back.
A score on that. 6 places, 1.91, and that is on. So yeah,
he was third.
Again,
last year.
He was third in 2017, I think, Dave.
Was he?
And he ran. Yeah, I think it was 2017. I could be wrong. I'm up for there.
I thought I did that earlier. Let's have a little look. Anyway, so I like Symmetrical as well. Bryony Frost got no further than the first in the Beecher on Jarla Enki, hoping for greater fortunes here. Of course, Frodon got sunk as well. Charlie Poste, who do you like in the Grand Sefton?
I quite like Modus. I just think he's first time over the fences. I mean, I'd imagine it'd be the first time a motivator has won over the Grand National fences if this happens. I just thought, as Darren alluded to, that there could be an awful lot of pace on here, and it might just be worth looking to something that slots in a little bit more.
Eli, absolutely, what a monkey he's been over the years, but a very talented one.
It could ignite him though. That's what you're looking at.
Very interesting indeed. Graeme, Rodway, your big fancy of the day.
Yeah, my big fancy of the day. I'm hoping that I can make it quick double after doing fine. So Springtown Lake for me, lining up nice and prominent, as Darren said. I'm not that worried about a pace burn up, because I think over these national fences, once they get 2 or 3 fences in, a lot of the front runners get thinned out depending on how they jump the first 3 or 4. Yeah. So let's just hope that Springtown Lake gets off to a good start, gets over the first 3 or 4 nice and fluently. I've always thought he looks a very natural jumper, which is what John Howes was telling us yesterday. You want for a Grand National was a very natural jumper, but we're going to find out, because he's never been over the national fences, but he looks the type who'll be suited by him.
Yeah, and we know that he just likes to get on with it, isn't he? Absolutely, and we like to get on with it as well, as they do off at time at Aintree, one of the great sights in national hunt racing. It's the Grand Sefton. Flying Angel, perhaps unsurprisingly for Team Tristan Davis. Bang up there over the first. Close your eyes. We're all over, happy days. Not like the Beecher, all there. And Bryony Frost survives the first fence on Symmetrical, charting a wide course on the outside. She's got for company there Creve Hill, another one, Sam Tristan Davis big. Whoa, he absolutely flew that. Just looking for Springtown Lake, Graeme. Got a bit further back than he might expect.
Yeah, they're going really pretty good pace. I don't think he's able to go that fast. He's just got shuffled back early on. Flying Angel come across him at the first, and Tom just had to sort of manoeuvre him away, and he's ended up losing his place. But
Charlie Poste at the chair. They are bolting here, aren't they? They're absolutely rocketing.
Oh,
a strong pace on. We've
lost one at the back. That might have been Swift Crusader, or I think it was Swift Crusader.
Yeah, I think Swift Crusader, yeah. Creve Hill leads him over the water now, and there's Sir Jack Lates is up there. Bo Bay, is that right?
Yes,
as
that's
well.
right.
Frederiki down the inside. Flying Angel, as you say, mid-division. Django Dollar. Modus is slotted right back in, and Springtown Lake behind him. I would say Springtown Lake isn't really loving this right now, as in he's sort of gone from a prominent pitch to being almost second last. Might Bite, I would imagine, is going to be pulled up, as in the enigmatic son of Scorpion looks like this hasn't been for him, and Jerry McGrath looks like the writing's on the wall already.
Oh, from Santini to Might Bite, Jerry McGrath, that's going to be a long journey home. I'll tell you what, when you're a course commentator and you're doing the national, you have someone in the bird's nest with you, telling you, spotting the fallers. The guys in the gallery haven't told me, I haven't got a clue. I need them to call the spotters guys in the galleries. Who was it? We think it was Swift Crusader that went at the first Might Bite. Have you ever seen? Yes, it was. Rob Lee wakes up, comes to the party.
And they only had
They'll
one
be
to
spotting
spot
them
so
now
far.
professionally.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that. Come Aintree time, we got this nailed in the studio. Okay, so Sir Jack Yates just takes up the running at the moment. Creve Hill still giving a bold sight. The bow bite is indeed there. I'm looking down. Who's that in the touch kick for Simon West? John Kington.
That's another one gone.
Oh, and he just goes.
Just gone.
Commentator's curse. Didn't need the gallery there to tell me that spotter. That was a cruncher. As Flying Angel, so Tristan Davis has got the two horses up there at the minute. That looks like Senior Citizen. Interesting horse, just a 7-year-old, trying his luck over the fences for the first time for Team King. Looking for the cross belts. Pink-Eyed Pedro, there's a name. Yeah. Connor Brace, he's got just a nice midfield sit at the moment. Springtown Lake still back there. Lord de Menil going all right. Didiero Vallis, now this is quite interesting, Darren. Did a bit too much in the race too soon. If you were reading Keith Melrose, betting editor's preview in the race, he said he wants a more conservative ride. They're doing that. Has the market picked up on him?
Yeah, he sold in this price pretty much there. Personally, I wouldn't swap our selection. Smedigal at the moment jumping really well, as always. Senior Citizen is the current narrow favourite, 5.5. Padero Vallis and Spring and Modus are both in and around the 6.6 mark. Smedigal 6.8. Obviously, Mike Bite the Faller, 1,000, Swift Crusader, and Butch Kick are the ones that are out of the race. But again, this could concern the ones that are thereabouts. But Smedigal, I have to say, very, very happy with that selection. Jumping really, really well. But Senior Citizen is the one the market wants to be with.
Okay, as Darren was talking there, you agreed with him, Charlie. You were saying that Somatigal looked a lovely sit there under Brian.
Yeah, Brian, he's got in position towards the outside. You know, he's jumped from fence to fence. Obviously, last few runs have been over 3 miles, so stamina isn't going to be an issue. And I'd have thought you'd be fairly happy if you're on him right now. So Jack Late's given a bold sight as they go over the canal turn.
Yeah, okay, so we are just, we're coming actually, to about 5 out, guys, aren't we?
Yeah.
The business end is actually in sight. And Modus, okay, just a word about him, Charlie. He's going to need to ignite.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's slotted in. He's jumped okay, which would have been a question mark beforehand, but he needs to make ground and make it quickly if he's going to play any role in this right now, because as you say from here, I think Graeme alluded to beforehand, the pace actually hasn't been that severe after the first couple of fences now, and I think it's going to be tough to make ground.
Okay, so 6th in the Fox Hunters last season, it was Sir Jack Yates. Well, at the moment, he's absolutely loving life over this short trip. And it's James Best. Terrible mishap for him on the hat-trick seeking walk in the mill in the Beecher. He's absolutely skipping through, got most of them off the bridle at the moment. Senior Citizen keeps catching my eye, boys. He's just gone up into second. Creve Hill having a shake of the reins. Looking out the back, it looks like Federici's had enough. Amalfi Doug's crying enough. Didiero Vallis, not today, I don't think, for Venetia. Lord de Menil showing a bit of interest on the inside. Came back with a wound in his leg when he disappointed as an odds-on fav over favourite last time.
He'll stay well. He'll stay well, Lord de Menil as well, won't he?
He absolutely will. So we're approaching the home straight. Springtown Lake Ground, Rodway. Is he done with?
Yeah, I think he's in trouble. He didn't jump a couple of those fences very well.
What are you looking at, man? I think he's coming, isn't he? I think he's got a great chance.
No, I think he's in trouble. I think he's in big trouble.
Okay, so Sir Jack Yates turns for home in front in the 2020 Grand Sefton. Sometigal just slightly off the bridle at this point, still in there for a place. Looking hard to see the win there. Is the winner in front, Charlie Pote, or is Modus going to get him?
Well, Modus is stalking into it, like classic John Joe O'Neill Jr. ride, but Senior Citizen has travelled very well on the outside. So Jack Yates also, like you say, James Best looking for compensation with the blinkers on, and he's going to lead them over the last in the Grand Sefton.
Could be a cracking finish,
Flying
this.
Angel in there as well. Oh, flying leap by Sir Jack Yates. What's he got left? We know he stays. Sometigal coming back for more in the inside. LeBeau by. He looks at Charlie Hammond giving him kitchen sink. Here comes Modus. Could he possibly pull this out? LeBeau by, Flying Angel as well, but James Best, can he hear them behind him? He's got daylight in a minute. LeBeau by goes on the inside. Here comes Modus. He couldn't possibly, could he? He's got the class on his side. LeBeau by getting weight though. Looks like he's going to come out on top in the Grand Sefton. Charlie Hammond, take a bow. He's sprinting clear. Oh, Sir Jack Yates led for a long way. Second this time only for Bestie. Modus back in third. Great run from him. And it looked like Flying Angel grabbed the fourth spot. The lot came clear of Springtown Lake in fifth. Did he get 5 places, Graeme Rodway?
I didn't back him each way, actually. I wish I had, Dave, that's for sure. But he's run an absolute cracker considering how badly he jumped.
Yes, okay. He's a horse that likes to get on with it, didn't he? That was an absolute jumping death. Charlie Poste, where on earth has this come from?
Beauvais has done fantastically well. I mean, Charlie Hammond, big day for him. He's a huge part of Richard Newland's team. I think he helps run the show at home. And I think what was crucial there was he managed to get up the inside of the elbow. It would have been detriment to his chance to have to come round the outside to make his challenge. He's managed to sneak up the inside of Sir Jack Yates, and I think that has proved crucial because as Beauvais has got in that gap, he's almost quickened and taken 3 or 4 lengths, which has been the difference come the line.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. It gives you memories of Pinot de Ray, doesn't it? Of course, Leighton Aspel winning the Grand National for Dr. Richard Newland. The question is, Darren Hughes, how low did Sir Jack Yates go?
How low did Sir Jack Yates go? It's a very good question, Davey. Jumped like an absolute buck for most of the race. Really, really good performance from him. He hit a low of 1.6 in the run, so a few fingers burnt there, in around an 8-13 shot. The winner, Bo Bay, very impressive. Him there with a late rattle. Matched at a high of 9.50. Someone's fingers burnt, and someone very, very happy at the moment. It's all for pennies. He kind of was 12 quid match at 170. So somebody's gone home very, very happy tonight after all that. Good work for the in-running punters there. Yeah, look, Smedigal ran a nice race, hit a low of 5.2 in the run. He got up for 6th, so we got most of our stake back again. Beauty of the exchange, those extra place marks really come in and help her helping hand. Modus ran a good race as well. John Joe O'Neill, brilliant jockey. He hit a load of 1.7 in the run, so some fingers burnt there as well for a few quid. But overall winner, quite good. Hard to know what way the form will stack up going forward, though.
Thank you, Darren Hughes. Yes, wasn't that an absolute thrill, the Grand Sefton. We adore our regular commentators out there that come on the social media. Stephen Hughes is one of them. He always usually puts up a lucky 15, as if you've been watching the entire show, I have mentioned. And Lebobai was one of them, guys, wasn't he? His was the one before the race, okay? It was a comment before the race. There we go. It's up, as if I needed reminding. Lebobai and then a Bobay in the next. For 3 winners and a place in a lucky 15. Aye. Stephen Hughes, what a day for you. Get on the... whatever it is your tickle might be. Okay, so we've got one more race coming up. That was the Grand Sefton. I want to get to Sandown, guys. We've got a little bit of time to talk about it because perhaps the pivotal horse of the day for punters out there is about to turn up. You might have thought it would have been Altior, but for Team 7 Barrows, Mr. Coffee, absolute revelation in the first time at Sandown on his reappearance. The form looks okay. Oscar's Legend finished second. Again, that was, I think, at Haydock in the week, wasn't it? The form's there. He's been whacked up in the weights, but this is a real sizzler. What price is he now, Darren Hughes?
Yeah, he's strong at the head of the market here, Dave, but I'm on board with you. He's 2.48, about a 6-4 shot for Nick de Boinville and Nicky Henderson. Benson then for the good doctor, 7.8, going for 3 on spin, and Gavin Sheehan, 7.8. Jolly's cracked it then for Harry Fry and Kevin Brogan, probably one of the better jump claimers that are going at the moment, or conditions, I should say. Really, really impressed with him. He's 9.2. Eglantine Desai then for Betfair Ambassador Paul Nicholson. Mr. Angus Shalida, he's a 14.5 shot. Just some of those Jared Sullivan horses that have come from Ireland haven't really just got off the ground running yet, so might be one to swerve. And then Solo then for Harry Cobden, and again for Paul Nicholson, the 10.0 chance. Probably a little bit disappointing in Win Canton behind Soraya and his latest run, but I think very much that this horse is on the favourite here. Very taken with him. He obviously his win over course of this last time, very, very impressive in soft ground. But impressing most of the time was really, really good in comparison to the rest of the card. He looks like a horse that will improve for a better race as well. He came with his run, he came with a wet sail, and he kind of didn't do a whole pile once he hit the front, but he looked to me like one that could be well treated off the mark of 138. I'm happy to back him. Let's have 50 quid on him at in and around the 2.58 mark, 2.6 mark. Graeme, to see us out for the day and hopefully finish us off with a nice winner.
Okay, 50 on Mr. Coffee, 2.6.
Yeah, let's see if we'll leave it up at 2.6 for a bit and see if we get matched.
Cool.
And if not, we can readjust. I tell you what, we might leave this up as a back lay in the run, but let's bring it up a bit to 2.64, 2.66. And let's see if we can leave it, because his style of running, I think he might be a slightly bigger price than mine or so into the race. So let's see if we can get a match at that.
That's something I can definitely see playing out. Charlie Poste, what do you make of him when he rocked up at Sandown last time on the first time hood?
It looked like they'd done a heck of a lot of work on getting him to switch off more, and then the hood helped a lot. He was mightily impressive. He cost $340,000 after winning his bumper for Harry Whittington. And, I mean, saying he's the one they've all got to beat when he's 11-8 favourite means nothing, but he's a horse with a stack of potential. He could be a potential graded horse in this lineup, and so for me, he's the one to be on. I'm also wondering why the boys have got which Back to the Future we've got on the screen now.
They've left terrestrial in the gallery. They're not looking for the spotters. Unbelievable.
Poor
So I can see them reaching
trying
over.
to nick a comic book there at the moment.
We had songs of praise on here last Saturday as well, if you're watching with Matty back. So, yeah, we're back on. Don't you worry about it. We're not going to miss the last at Sandown. OK, so, yeah, you mentioned he might be a graded horse. That is the word from the herd, I think. He's in the Betfair Exchange trophy, the former Schweppes, of course. That's
and to win those sort of contests, you need to be a graded horse, don't you? You know, as in so you'd imagine that there's bigger plans in mind for Mr. Coffee. Like I say, with the price tag that he was, that was always the intention. But this is a fascinating race. You know, there's some very good horses in it. I mean, Solo, of course. I mean, looked like he had the world at his feet when he won the Adonis last year, and it's it's been disappointing. He was disappointed in the triumph and then beat by So Royale at Wincanton the last day. But he's a sort of horse you wouldn't want to be writing off too soon, would you? I mean, if he bounced back to form for Paul Nicholls, it'd be no surprise either.
Yeah, he could be a potential class angle. And don't forget that when Guillaume McCare spoke to Paul Nicholls after Paul Nicholls inherited this horse, apparently they paid absolute dollars for him. He said, I'll be amazed if he ever wins over hurdles over 2 miles. So they see him as a chaser of the future. He's still only 4.
Yeah. When I was doing my Saturday Sizzlers piece yesterday, I actually wrote 200 words and was going to headline the whole piece on Mr. Coffee. But
what went wrong?
Then there are a few things that hit me. I always feel as a Racing Post tipster and a tipster and someone who does punditry and stuff like that, says, I'm here really to tell you something that you don't know. You know what I mean? Now, sticking you in on an 11 to 8 favourite, we all know this horse has got an outstanding chance. We all know he might well be a champion of the horse. We all know he's probably a good bit better than 138. And then I had a couple of alarm bells also ringing in the back of my head. I thought, what about this hood? What about this hood? I know he looked so good in it last time out, but he's obviously a buzzy sort of horse because he wouldn't be wearing the hood otherwise. And there was one race last year at Huntingdon where he looked like an absolute lunatic. He was almost unrideable for some part of the race. Now, obviously, the hood ironed that out last time out and he fulfilled his potential. But that's not to be sure that it's going to do it again. There's a chance he might be buzzy here again, say. And, of course, you've got to throw in the fact that it's heavy ground. Now, do you want to be on a potentially buzzy horse at a very short price on heavy ground?
It wasn't good. It was pretty testing, wasn't it, last time?
Yeah. And he settled. And if he settles, he'll win. On heavy ground, it won't matter because he obviously acts on it. But the question is, will he settle this time in the same way that he did last time? And if he doesn't, then the heavy ground could be a issue.
So not for you at the likely prices.
At the price, I had to take him on. Obviously, I think he's going to win. I almost headlined the whole piece on him. I think he's the most likely winner. But I'm not here to tell you he's going to win. I'm here to find someone to beat him. And the horse that I think can beat him is Benson.
Benson, okay, who comes himself on a hat-trick, and it could be a very quick and high-profile double for Dr. Richard Newland.
The one race, actually, that gives him a huge chance is none of his wins. There was a run last year at Sandown over the course and distance where he was against Quail de Stan and Call Me Lord. Now, Quail de Stan is rated 150 and Call Me Lord is a 160 rated horse, and he's a very good horse around Sandown on soft ground. And it was heavy ground that day. Yeah. Right? Now, he unseated the rider at the second last, right? But when coming to the second last, he was actually making ground, hand over fist, on the bridle, coming to challenge these two, Call Me Lord and Kelder. So he was 66 to 1 outsider. He appeared to have absolutely no chance on form. But he would have been right there, I tell you, if he hadn't unseated the rider with those two 150 and 160 rated horses. Yeah. He returns to the same track, on the same ground, over the same distance, and he's running off a mark of 127 in a handicap. Those horses that he was racing against that day were rated 150, 160. He could be thrown in here.
So he then went to Kempton, didn't he, the Saturday after the festival, in that compensation race with horses that can't get in at the Cheltenham Festival. And again, he blundered his way around there. Not the case in 2 runs back. First time tongue-tied today. The market, Darren Hughes suggested this could be the one if there's any egg on the face for Mr. Coffee backers.
Yeah, look, we might have got matched at the 2.66, Dave, did we? He briefly drifted out of that. He's back in as about a 2.6, or Graeme rather, he's back in as a 2.6, 2.58 chance at the moment. Benson, 7.4, Jolly Scrapped at 9.0, Solo 10.5, Edgerton to side 15.5. The market is fairly static, no major moves at this moment in time. All I would say, to Graham's point, I fully appreciate this horse is slightly buzzy and all the rest, but geez, there's some amount of pace on in this race. Like, my God, you have Totter down there who knows one way to run around Sandown. He's won. Rosie and Millie likes to get on with it. Let the Airs walk. Alicia McCallow for Nick Williams. Or is it Nick the Transit? And Chester riding it. It misses Jane Williams, I beg your pardon. Sorry, he's going for a 3-time or 2. A lot of pace on here. That should help him settle. He's out of authorised. He's by authorised, I should say. No issue with a dig in the ground either. He should go on it. So I think he's an awful lot in his favour. I do appreciate he's a sharp price, but I think he's definitely the one to be with here.
Let me give you one here as Graham Rodway's phone goes off. Don't tell me that there's another flat tire.
It's the missus. It always worries me when the missus is calling me. What do you want?
Did you?
Does that mean she's not watching?
Oh, she never watches.
No, she's honestly that would be too harrowing for a heart monitor. Would be going all over the place if you're watching Graham. Let's face it that way. So okay, this is interesting. One thing that strikes me here, guys, is that despite the day that Nicky's having, and let's face it, it's been a pretty rotten day. the market, I thought, would have pushed this guy right out. It hasn't. The level of confidence behind this guy is pretty ridiculous, actually. Some of the messages I was getting last night and this morning suggesting that, they could go for a Betfair handicap. They could go for of course, the now Betfair-sponsored handicap at the Ascot Christmas meeting in 2 weeks' time. Our next show here for you here on RP Live. There's a chance he could go for that. They actually think he's good enough to be turning up maybe in the International on Cheltenham on New Year's Day. And I want to test him, which is, of course, they want to call me Lord. Penton Hills was in that race last year, you remember. It's a race that they like. He's off 138 here. If he's going to be anything like that sort of horse, he wins this, doesn't he? So if he settles, he wins. We know that. You like the alternative. Benson still going forward, first time tongue tie. Big moment this for Gav Sheehan. You mentioned it, Darren Hughes. He's now, 0 from 35 since he's come back from that arm injury he had. So if you Gav Sheehan, we all know Gav fairly well.
Yeah. I don't think it's
he's a bit of a character.
It's not a big moment for him. I mean, he'd be frustrated as a sportsman that he hasn't had a winner yet. I mean,
but the pressure wasn't on with Rouge Vif, was it? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Look, as in pressure's a privilege, isn't it? It's a sort of thing that, as a rider, that you
can
want.
have some of mine if you like, Charlie Poste.
I don't know what sort of pressure you have, Dave.
I don't know. Freddie Mercury, I'm constantly under pressure.
Yeah, Christ, that's another story. But as in Benson's a good ride for him. I don't think he's going to feel pressure from going out to ride a second favourite in a handicap hurdle at Sandown. He'll be hoping.
He's 0 from 35 since he's come back.
It's just variant, though, isn't it? There's none of his rides. If you go back and watch them, will he go away and think, "Geez, I should have won on that"?
Yeah.
He's had a couple of horses that just have run absolutely no race. It's just variant.
Exactly. I think if he felt that he was missing out on rides that he should have been winning on, then he's going to be asking questions of himself. I mean, I think they're taking, regardless of Mr. Coffey, there's some interesting horses in here, full stop, isn't there? Gilles McCarlo is a front runner, very progressive, beat Murada 2 starts back, who came out and franked the form. Eglantine de Searle, second run for Willie Mullins, travelled well the last day. Rosia Miller,
she's interesting.
Another front runner, but ran a super race behind Buzz at Ascot.
Because it could give us a line on Buzz, who looks like for Team Edison, he's another Betfair.
The other one, Nicholson, is very highly regarded by Ollie Murphy and his team. We actually broke him in, as in he won on hurdle debut. I think there were excuses. I mean, he ran against Ribble Valley, who went on and ran fine in the fight in fifth. So there's whatever happens in this race, and if Mr. Coffey goes and wins like a graded horse, fair enough. But there's plenty of interesting horses in here for the future.
And the thing with Mr. Coffey, I think, to me, he's not a hurdler. I mean, look at the size of him. He is a chaser in the making, this horse.
When he won, of course, he actually looks beautiful, doesn't he? He looks a bit like Sprinter Sacre there. The flag goes up for the last race, and then on RP Live, he swept down the outside. I'd expect a repeat, I think, of that. So, unsurprisingly, Totter down right up the front as they're going there. Who else is going to give him some company? Let's have a look. Gilles McCarlo, as Darren said, might be up there as well. If anything leads Tosser down, it will be a surprise.
Rosie and Millie as well. Bang there down the inside. Solo has been lined up handy but wide by Harry Cobden.
Yeah, Benson going to serve it up as well. It looks like it. Jolly's cracked it. We haven't mentioned him. Harry Fry, Kevin Brogan having a wonderful season.
Yeah, talented young rider.
Yes, that's a very valuable £7, isn't it? They're off and running then. Okay, three-way way for the lead. This will suit Mr. Coffey, who's put right to sleep out the back by Nico de Boinville. Let's have a look. Eglantine de Soy out there as well. Benson in midfield at this point. Solo. Now that is keen, Charlie Poste.
Solo is keen, but Gilles McCarlo is worse. As in this would be a definite concern. Chester Williams is desperately trying to get him to just switch off a bit more. He might have a chance now if he can get him behind onto the rail and try and get him onto the back end of another horse to try and make him back off a bit.
Okay. They're saying I've had a mare in the gallery because Sheehan's had 3 winners apparently. Portrush, Ted, of course it was yesterday, wasn't it? Of course. Was it yesterday? I think it was. Oh, right, and Anything for Love as well. So Gav, I apologise, my man. Okay, it's
I told you he wasn't worried.
Pressure!
Only
Pressure!
three.
Give it all to Dave Orton. No
problems.
Had 3. Totterdown then goes clear, and actually, by Totterdown standards, is being rather restrained up front. Indeed, Rosie and Millie is up there as well. We'll get a line on Buzz, hopefully, for that horse. I know loads of you out there love Buzz. Jess Stafford, big player at Betfair. Tholo Thoroughbred, she'll be hoping for a big run from Rosie and Millie. Nicholson, looking for that Charlie Post, right out the back.
Nicholson 3/4 of the way back down the inside, upsides Benson, Eglantine de Searle right out the back at the moment alongside Mr. Coffee, which is understandable as they'll be trying to get him to switch off and let his class come into play later on.
He's a long way back, isn't he?
He is a long way back for sure.
Mr. Coffee?
Yeah.
A long
He's
way
settled
back.
fine though, isn't he?
Totterdown is going to make this a proper test. You know, I mean, you can see as they're going around the bottom bend into the back straight, the mud is kicking up and the ground is properly soft on the hurdles track.
He's starting to let him go a bit
He's
now.
15
The
lengths
Coffee,
behind it, Dave.
the Coffee is pouring it on. I've been waiting to say that all afternoon. Benson drifted back in the back a little bit. Okay, so Darren Hughes, we're on the far side. We've got 6 hurdles to jump. What is the market saying about Mr. Coffee? Giving them too much rope?
No, open up this are very fast there, Dave. Money hand timing it, but they're definitely going to come back to the field. Mr. Coffee strongly fancy 2.38 here in the exchange in the run. Benson, small bit of a drift. He's 8, just back at the 6.6 there as I speak. Jolly's cracked at the big drift at 38 to 12.5 VSP. Solo the one for a small bit of money, 5.6 from 9.4, but it does look like they're going very, very hard.
Mr. Coffee just missed out there.
You heard it here first, right? Darren says they're going to come back.
They're going to come back to them. Okay, well, guess Solo, Charlie posted, Harry Cobden, if the front runners do start feeling the pinch, net the airs walk up there as well for Tim Vaughan. He's the one perfectly placed.
Solo
right?
is in a great posse with Harry Cobden. Mr. Coffee, this just at the penultimate hurdle, Nico de Boinville went for a big one and he put down and galloped through the back of it. He just want to buck his ideas up a little bit, jump that much better off, yeah.
Okay, so will they come back? Totterdown getting in a breather upsides. Rosie and Millie now. Just looking for it in a minute. Benson just shaking the reins. Graeme Rodway, he's surely gone, isn't he?
Yeah, don't think he's going that well, Benson. Solo's going quite well, isn't he? And he's well placed. Mr. Coffee's tanking along as we thought he might.
What will he find? Galise Macalo still there as well. Here comes Mr. Coffee there, and they're swinging around for the home straight now. We have got still quite a long way to go despite only 2 hurdles to be jumped. It's going to be sticky. It's going to be tough work. Nico de Boinville looking uber confident. A last walk for the market. Darren Hughes.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Nico is travelling with big confidence, but the market does not agree. He's about a 15 pace.
He's shaking the reins
shaking
now.
him up now. Yeah.
Oh, here he comes. This is it. Fill your lungs.
Come on, Benson.
Rosie and Millie then. Just found... Now, he knows all about Rosie and Millie because he picked it up on Buzz last time at Ascot. But Rosie and Millie is the one to back. Galise Macalo there as well. Everything else, Benson trying hard. Oh, Mr. Coffee, not too bad there. Benson dived at it. Not totally out of it. What will the Coffee find? Probably not a lot. No strength in this one. It's decaf at the minute.
Come on,
Mr.
Benson.
Coffee. He looks absolutely held. It's Rosie and Millie coming to the last. Over she goes to the Schooner Moors. Benson, could this be it for Rodway? Come on, runners! You might have this to Benson.
Come on, Benson!
Alternative in the market.
Go on, Benson!
No, it's got
Go on, Benson!
Unbelievable
Yes! Go on, there, Benson!
Scenes. You... Now you're going to believe him. He had 200 words written on Mr. Coffee in the last. Scrubbed it up. If you were watching Sizzlers, he got over the mark. There's your points, Graeme. Was it 2-pointer?
I actually didn't tip that one in the Sizzler.
Head in hands moment. This is why his wife doesn't watch. Absolutely. Benson goes and does it. I tell you what, he looked cooked at one point. This is a horse capable of going places.
For sure, and like great for Gavin Sheehan, get his confidence back there. Dave, you know, you'd be over the moon for him. You know, as in, he's only had 4 winners in the last 2 days, but like brilliant. You know, it's good.
Oh dear Lord, dear
Galise
Lord. That was me
Macalo
and Darren Hughes. I'm putting Darren Hughes in that pot as well.
Galise Macalo really wants rating up in that. I mean, she was so keen early doors, and to stay on like she did, I think that rates a really good performance enough. I mean, if her mark doesn't get moved much, she should be pitching up and winning a nice prize somewhere in the not too distant future. We've
got an eye catcher there, Galise Macalo from Charlie Poste. Oh, happy days! It's been a grey day for you, isn't it, to start? But it's just been lit up.
Yeah, it's been a good day because I did tip doing fine in the Sizzlers at least, Dave. So 2 winners I've backed, but only 1 tipped.
I'm sure Benson, I saw a headline, but perhaps I don't know.
I was very, very close to doing it, but I thought it was a tough day. I just went for 3. But 1 winner in the column and 2 winners overall. Can't complain.
No, can't complain whatsoever. Paul Keeley doing the Saturdays. Paul's back, isn't he? You should just say you've been promoted, haven't you? We should say that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably why you've had a shave, isn't it? You're now the deputy betting editor, of course.
That's true, yeah. I got promoted yesterday was the official announcement. Yeah, so now assistant betting editor. So
company-wide email went round. It was a head in hands moment for everyone there as well. Certainly under that rota, congratulations. Gee, great day we've had so far. Have you enjoyed it out there? We've loved having you on board. Charlie Post, great to have you back in the studio. Racing Post, brother from another mother.
Yeah, look, it's great to be back. It's been a really fun day in all honesty, Dave, as in Yeah, I mean,
You do genuinely give some great insight. There was a moment, wasn't there, on Cloudy Glen where you were telling us why he was putting the stick through over the national fences as well. Highlight for you, Charlie, of the day? Politolog?
Harry Skelton, Grade 1 double. He's a great mate of mine. We live close together, and that's phenomenal.
What sort of celebration will be it tonight at Team Skelton's? You know, they've got that Grade 1 novice. This is a horse they must have got and gone, what are we going to do with this chap, All Mankind?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I think for what they've done with turning him round and sort of creating him into this bold, front-running, dazzling novice chaser, that they're going to be ecstatic.
Would you call it brilliant training?
Well, I mean, we could have a whole other show on this, but I actually, my opinion of Graeme Rodway's changed. I came down here with all these preconceived ideas. He's actually all right.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely. Let me tell you, after that comment about trainers not being so brilliant, he went to like Bristol de Mai. You've got a little bit whiter, haven't you? Greyers tend to get a bit grey. Graeme, thanks very much for coming down.
Thanks,
again,
Dave.
Highlight for you, probably Benson last.
Yeah, Benson in the last was super, and obviously doing fine was great too.
Great stuff. We'll have you back soon, won't we, Graeme? And definitely Poste will be back in the studio as well. Darren Hughes, absolutely superb. You're on fire today, Darren.
Thanks a million. Yeah, look, really enjoyable, lads. Good day out. Couple of very impressive winners. All right, All Mankind probably the highlight for me, but overall a smashing day for Harry Skelton. Really, really delighted for him. Pity he couldn't just get up on Cross Park, but no fault of his. I will just say the winner there, Benson for the good doctor. He's now 10-1 from 20-1 for the Betfair Hurdle later on in the season. Trader suitably impressed with that performance. It was very, very good. Galicia McCallum hit a low of 1.3 there in the run. Benson hit a high at 22, so hard stopping stuff, really enjoyable. But yeah, thanks very much for the invite. I will be back the week before Christmas for the Betfair Hurdle at Ascot, the sponsored race at Ascot there, so looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Darren Hughes. We will have you back. We're all getting festive then, aren't we? December's here. Race goes back on track. RP Live not going anywhere. We'll be back on the 19th. From Dave Orton and myself, great to have you along. Keep your interest coming on YouTube and Facebook Live. Like and subscribe to the show.